And for real
Let
quick, it's over 150,000 eligible people in that district.
Oh, we got Marcel in the building. Marcel is in the building. Everybody salute
Yo,
our
what's
brother
cracking,
Marcel.
Marcel?
Peace, peace, God.
My nigga Marcel, yes sir. You in this bitch, man? For real.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you guys don't mind, but we're gonna skip the line. We're gonna let our brother Marcel get a word off. You
Bro, I
got the
was
floor,
next,
Marcel.
bro.
Yeah, but you're
Be
not Marcel,
respectful. Be
so
respectful of the room and host. Just wait your turn, please.
Shut up, bitch.
we're not having that. Marcel, you can go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Hey everyone. I'm gonna be very brief. I've been doing a lot of reevaluating. First of all, I want to thank Afro Elite again for driving down all the way from Chicago by yourself. Look, I went to I did so many things by myself. That's one of the things that I realized was maybe an area that needs more attention. But the point I'm making is I would drive an hour or 2 hours by myself and go to events by myself, and that was a lot. So I can imagine coming from Chicago by yourself, driving around my district, which is a lot of rural districts. There's a lot of desolate country roads. Yes, there's some pretty, and some of them are beautiful. You see a lot of palm trees in the rivers and the marshes, but you don't know the environment, and it's hard. You saw my district. You were in Walterboro because you were in Carleton County. So I think it's like you were in Walterboro. So you
Yeah,
saw
I was.
how
I was.
yeah, Walterboro. So you saw how most of my district is arranged. Every county is like that. It usually has like a big city or a big town, and the big towns aren't always that big. And outside of that, it's woods. And then you may come across another small town here and there, but then you see people are spread out all over the place. It's not like Chicago or New York City where you can just go to a big park that's crowded and talk to masses of people. It doesn't work that way. So in a rural area, it's hard. And I bring that up because I hate it when people keep bringing up Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. First of all, she's a white woman. Okay. Second of all, she's a sellout. Third of all, she wasn't running on reparations. She was running on more anti-black benign neglect, Green New Deal, health care. But you bring up reparations, she goes, "What is black?" But then she says illegal immigrants who broke our laws need reparations. So people really need to stop trying to compare what I was trying to do and still am trying to do to what she did. It would have been easy for me to run on health care or some vague crap that doesn't change anyone's life. I'm running on something that needs to be done, that this country knows it should have done, but doesn't want to do and won't do unless they're made to do it. And that's reparations. But here's one thing I said. One, I want to be very quick with y'all. It's a lot going on. When I have people who are running against me saying those numbers don't look right, when your opponent is saying that, the other person in the race is saying that, when they are saying too that more people verbally confirmed they voted for them, like we didn't go to them, these people are calling them and saying, "Hey, I voted for you." When you have more people saying that in a county than what the final count is showing, that's a problem. Okay? When you have the daughter of the incumbent, who's the political director of the state party and was involved in all matters of the election, that's a problem. When you now are trying to do a recount or a protest and you have to go to the daughter of the man who's the incumbent, that's a problem. I do not support violence. I'm not a nonviolent person. Okay, I'm going to be very clear about that. I'm not a nonviolent person, never going to be. I'll be nonviolent when America goes first. I always make that very clear. When America goes nonviolent, then Gregg Marcel Dixon go nonviolent. Until America goes nonviolent, I ain't about to be nonviolent. Okay, I want peace. I want respect. I want justice. But until we get that, violence is always an option for me. I've seen more and more and more and more What happened on January 6th was a lynch mob. But more and more and more and more, I'm trying to figure out why we weren't the ones up there. Okay? I'm trying to figure that out. I done called this department, that department, state level, federal level, trying to ask them how was it appropriate for the state director to be the daughter of a Democratic candidate who's running on a Democratic is running in a Democratic race against two Democratic opponents. And everybody wants to bounce the buck. So let me just say there's a lot of shading that goes on, y'all. I can't speak too much about this one, but someone was saying that they may have some evidence of ballot hoarding. I had never heard of that, but it is what you probably think it is. It is what I thought it was. Pretty much people take ballots and they don't process all of them. They kind of like keep some away. And someone is saying that they may have there's strong reason to believe that probably happened. I wasn't able to get enough poll watchers. That would have been 2,000 something people. I want to be able to pay them. If I tried to pay $15 per 2,000 something people, that would have been like 15 something $1,000 right there. So it was a lot of stuff. Now I'm gonna say my strategy. The good news is I have now what I didn't have when I started. One, I wasn't known when I started. Two, I was starting from scratch. Three, I didn't really want to run a campaign. Y'all remember, I originally started wanting to be a write-in candidate, and I just wanted it to be symbolic. I really didn't make it a legitimate race until like a month or two in. Then I had no money, no name recognition, no team. Now I have a team. Now I have name recognition. And I'm not talking about just social media, but name recognition here in South Carolina. If you believe those numbers, which I don't, I'm not saying I would have won, but I believe my numbers are much higher than that. But let's just take those numbers for what they are. That means I have almost 3,000 people who voted for me and support what I was trying to do. That's 3,000 people I can use to recruit at least one other person for me. And that right there will be 6,000 people. Okay? That's how we have to look at things. The biggest thing that I should have had was phone banking. I tried to do it myself, didn't have anyone to manage it. Nas came along and did a fantastic job with it. Y'all were making like almost 7,000 phone calls a day. That's unheard of. People usually pay staffs to do that many. I should have had that happen all throughout the campaign. That's one. Two, I should have been more visible. I am in a rural area. A lot of stuff doesn't happen around here. They don't do a lot of meetings, town halls, a lot of the festivals and things that happen. They don't like to have politicians there. Sometimes they even make it a rule where you cannot politicize, you cannot hand out flyers and things like that. But I should have been arranging for meet and greets, but I didn't have money. But now that I have some money left over, I can do that. Billboards, perfect. The mistake I made, I had my face on the billboard. I should have had Clyburn's face on there as well. I took the advice of some people saying, well, don't put Clyburn's face on there. Just make it all about you. Wrong. People, Clyburn has name recognition. And because he's old and black and southern and he's been through the same type of anti-blackness I am trying to get us reparations for, people automatically assume he's for us. My flyer has Clyburn's record on there and it has the grade of an F. I should have put his record up on those same billboards. I had over 1 million impressions with the, I don't know, 12 or 10 or 12 billboards I did. Every time people looked at me, they should have seen Clyburn's record. One of the reasons we decided not to, because we were like, people are going to be driving. They're not going to have a lot of time to see his record. Well, I should not have put his whole record up there, but I could have put his face up there with an F and put me up there with an A. So I need to also publicize his record more. Robocalls, that was a fail. People were getting robocalls in the middle of the night. I don't know why that was happening. I got a lot of nasty messages about that. I took responsibility because I'm the face of the campaign. I had nothing to do with it. Text messages, I don't know how effective that was. I mean, I want to say anytime I can tell people about me is good, but really, the next time, more money is going to go toward billboards, go towards commercials, and go towards hosting events where I can actually meet people and go towards getting people out there on the streets. The main thing is ground game, y'all. So I'm gonna have to get people out there knocking on doors in a rural area. It's so hard. You don't just walk down the street, apartment building there, apartment building there, apartment building there. No, you may drive, first of all, to 5 trailers here, drive another 5 miles, 20 trailers here, maybe an apartment building here, drive 20 minutes, uh, a group of trailers there. People are all over the place. It takes a lot more money and time. But because I have 2 years now, we can start that now. I can have people invite me to their places of worship or to their nonprofits or to their jobs. Because some jobs, if it's their own business, they can do that now. So I have a good head start to get my name circulated now. The 5% of the vote I got, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I probably got that in the last month or so of my campaign. Okay, before that, most of my campaign, people never even knew who I was. When people finally did hear me, they said, I heard there was a young man running against Clyburn, but I don't know him. That's literally what I heard from most people. Some people even told some of the people I had making phone calls that they had already voted for Clyburn, but had they known about me already, they would have voted for me. So it was all about getting my name out, and that's what I want to do. And look, I'm gonna need y'all help too. Donations are great. I need donations. You can still donate, please do. But really, as many people that can come here, please come. I know that's hard. I can't obligate anyone to do it, but if you can, that will be help. A lot of help.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. When you I'll make an appearance back down there. That's not going to be my first and only time going down there. I'll go down there as many times as need be because this is very important. This is literally like a life or death situation. I've been down there. I see for the fact that Marcel, you're not exaggerating when you're talking about how poor and destitute your district is. I'm literally
Thank you.
seeing that with my own eyes. I'm like, Marcel isn't exaggerating. Marcel didn't go and handpick the worst places to film. This is just how the area looks in general. I'm seeing the situation that these kids have. I've been driving through the schools and I'm seeing the schools, the low funded schools that these kids have to go to school in. So I'm seeing the situation. It definitely needs to change. So I will dedicate myself to going down there as many times as I can to help out with your campaign. And I will try to like, I don't know if we can I get local people in Chicago. We can rent a car or something. We can all go down there, rent a van or something. We can all go down there, or whatever the case may be. Now that people realize that volunteers are things people are something people need to do, they can do that. So
I
I'll
want to
definitely
say
be
real
doing that.
quick too, Afro. I want to be real quick. Since you drove to my area, that means you also saw the food deserts and the healthcare deserts. That means you probably drove for miles upon miles upon miles. You didn't even see a gas station, let alone a grocery store or a hospital. Just like I've been telling people, you can drive for miles and there's no grocery store, no hospitals, nothing. Nothing at all. No
Yeah,
basic
exactly.
infrastructure in some areas, almost non existent.
Exactly. It felt like I was driving in the middle of nowhere, to be honest. It was a lot of trees and it literally felt like there was nothing but road. I was in the middle of nowhere, and that's crazy because every so often I would see like a trailer park home, or I would see a small little gas station in the cut or something like that, or a tire shop here and there. But it's a lot of emptiness. It's a lot of that. So that definitely needs to change. They need reparations like yesterday. So we definitely got to get you in there. And now that you've gotten your name out there to a degree, now we can capitalize off of the momentum. Because I definitely got to tip my hat to you. You hit the ground running. I know you didn't really want to do it, but you ran and you hit the ground running. I have a couple of questions though. Can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you.
Yep, I
Okay,
hear you.
I saw some people dropping off. I was on like, I hope my phone isn't the issue. But a couple of questions because a couple of people have asked me about if you decided that you wanted to kind of change your brand up a little bit as far as running as independent or running as a Republican. Do you think that that would be of any progress?
Nope. And you know why? I ain't gonna let the Democrats get away that easily. Putting pressure on politicians is how you get policies. The reason the Democrats want me to leave from the Democratic Party so bad, because I'm putting pressure on them that we should have been putting on them decades ago, 60 years ago. The moment we decide to give them 95% of our vote is the moment we should have decided to give them hell for giving us nothing for our votes, and we didn't. I'm not going to leave from their party so they can relax and have it easy while selling us out. Y'all saw that speech I gave Saturday where I had on like that tan colored suit and that red tie? That was
Hmm.
at the Democratic State Convention. Had I not ran as a Democrat, I would not have been invited there. I was able to give that speech to hundreds of people. And y'all heard the applause. The audience must have been like 30, 40% white. And y'all heard, and I wouldn't care if it was all white. Y'all heard the applause, right? Running as a Democrat gives me access to the people who keep voting for the Democrats, which is mainly our people. Black Americans in South Carolina are 70% of the Democrats. So when I go to Democratic conventions, it's mainly our people there. I have never met anyone of our people with whom I get to speak with about my platform that disagrees with it. They all support it once they hear it. The older black people that we think are beyond saving, they support it the most. If an older black person voted for me and they knew about me and they knew about my platform and they still voted for Clyde, that's unforgivable. They are coon. They need to die off. Okay? I mean every
Yeah,
word of it.
yeah,
But most of them voted for me though and did not know about me. This is true. I literally had some of them say when they saw me wearing a shirt in town, one of them said, "We voted for Clyburn, but next time we got you," because they didn't know about me, and I can't get mad at them for voting for what they know. Now Clyburn is awful, and I did ask one of them, "Why did you vote for him?" They literally said they do it out of a sense of obligation, not to him, but to they claim to us as a people. They feel like they have to vote for someone. So they show up and vote no matter what. I am not going to let the Democrats get off with selling our people out. So, no, I'm not running as a Republican because we ain't voted for them. So they don't owe us. They should be running and trying to do things for us, but they're not. And they don't get 99% of our vote. I'm not running as an independent because that doesn't give me access to any of them. I'm running as a Democrat. They owe us. They get the most of the votes of our people. And when they have events, I have every right to be there because one, I'm a taxpayer, and two, I'm a Democrat, and I get to go there and meet our people. I'm not trying to change them. I'm not trying to work with them. I'm just going to make sure we get what we're owed from them. And that's by giving them absolute hell on the inside. If they're trying to get rid of little old me because I'm giving them hell and causing an uproar, that's good. I just need to get other people to do it too. And that is happening. Like I said, those votes I got, that was probably all within the last 2 months.
yeah. Okay. And being down there, I could see why. I could see why. I was just asking a question because that was a question that was asked earlier about if you are going to continue running as a Democrat. I have another question though, and I know you don't have a lot of time, so I appreciate you being here. We know that Jim Clyburn, he does his fish fry, and that's one of the things that he does to get his name out there. So, do you have a plan? Like, let's say we were to fund an event for you to host, like a fish fry or something like that. Would you do something like that, or what would your idea be to kind of combat or top Jim Clyburn's fish fry? Would you have one of your own? Would you do something similar? How would you get your name out the in that way? That's a
Just
question
like
somebody's asked.
just to let y'all know, my lights are flickering. You know, we have a thunderstorm here, so if I go off, that's what's happening. But I did that, but I probably did it too late. I did lots of things like that. I and I'm proud of what we did. I'm so proud. We supported so many black owned businesses. We sponsored several haircuts at barbershops, at hair salons. We sponsored over 500 meals at several different black owned restaurants and food trucks. If nothing else, we supported our people and they supported me. The last thing I did though was in Allendale County. One of the poorest counties in the country, y'all. It's the 10th poorest county in the United States of America, Avondale County, South Carolina. I did a crab boil. And let me tell you, if you want to get Gullah Geechee people to come out, hang a crab in the air. It's like a worm on a hook. We see a crab, we coming. So I plan to do a crab boil, a low country boil, but those things cost money. You have to rent the venues, you have to get the food, and you may have to pay someone to prepare the stuff. And that's what I didn't have a whole lot of, y'all. I didn't have enough money to do those things. Not saying y'all didn't donate generously, you did, but money in politics goes really fast. I will buy a slate of commercials, and that right there will cost me like $6,500, and that will probably be like doing 4 or 5 commercials only in the Columbia, South Carolina market, Savannah, Georgia market, Augusta, Georgia market, Charleston, South Carolina market. Billboards, probably like 1,500 to 2,000 per billboard. Flyers and door hangers, oh my goodness, they cost a lot to get in bulk. And then sometimes having to hire a distribution team. So money, you have to spend so much money in a campaign. Sometimes what you have left to do events like what Clyburn could do, like fish fries, is just not enough. So the more money I get in, the more I can do things like that to counter what he does. Because unfortunately, I live in an area, my district, people here are very smart, but formal education here is very low. You saw how underfunded our schools are just by the way they look, you can tell. And the educational system here, we're in the corridor of shame, meaning poverty is very high, academic failure is very high. So a lot of people here don't read newspapers. They don't research candidates. They don't look at the news. So communicating with people and keeping them informed, you have to get them to come to you. And food is one of the ways to do that. And I ain't mad at them, because to get me to come out too, food is the way to do it. So I just need money. So that's why I'm telling people, the first thing I saw some people do was cancel their reoccurring donations. And that's fine. I can't tell people how to use their money. But if people can still donate, this is the best time to do so, while I don't have to spend any money in the intro. Because when I start, I got to have that machine. Because let me tell y'all, Clyburn, if he doesn't retire or die, he's planning to run again. He's not going to, he's going to know now, hey, this guy can be dangerous. Why do you think Bakari Sellers, who spent most of his time ignoring me, made his little snide remark about me after the election is over? Why do you think those little baby coons that they got coming after me, who's part of the young Democrats, Democrats of America in South Carolina, why do you think they're coming at me? Why do you think all these coons are coming out of the woodwork? They know it's not because of what I represent now. They're playing long term. They know now, okay, I might not be a threat, I may be more of a nuisance, but they know long term, I could be a massive threat to them. So they're trying to neutralize me now as a threat. Okay? I can now tell y'all, Clyburn's team came to me subtly and tried to get me to run at the state level. No, I am not trying to repair Black South Carolina only. I'm trying to repair Black America to save America. Some of them told me, like, well, if you step down, you never know. He might retire and endorse you. I'm not running just to win a seat. I'm running to make a difference. And winning a seat is just a means to an end to help do that. I'd rather lose being who I am and sticking true to who I am than to quote unquote win and I done sold out on all of my values. So there are some costs to winning I'm not willing to pay. The point I'm making is Clyburn is not going to take me. He's not going to underestimate me. Okay. So the next time, if he sees that I'm going to run again, he knows I am, he's going to be more ready. He's going to have his war chest. He's going to have all his guns cocked and full and loaded. I have to have my guns cocked and loaded. I have to have my war machine oiled up. So if people can still donate, I need them to. We cannot wait the month of to start donating then. It'll be too late.
Exactly. And we were saying that earlier in the conversation, that in order to get your name out there, because from being out there, I know you had a lot of people who would have been interested had they have known you, but they didn't know you because it takes money to get your name out there. Jim Clyburn, he's had a 30 plus year head start. So you're going to need a lot of money to get the billboards, to get the signs, to get volunteers, to pay for the gas for people to drive around. That stuff costs money and that stuff is expensive. So for the family, I understand that the race is over now, but the fight isn't over. You know, the battle isn't over yet. So we still need you guys to donate. We still need you guys to fund the campaign. So next time when our brother Marcel runs, he can really hit the ground running. He made a lot of progress in a small amount of time with his limited resources. Can you imagine how much more he would have if he had a longer time to plan and more resources? Just imagine, like, triple what he had, all the progress he made. Imagine if we tripled everything, triple the time, triple the money. So we need the family to continue to donate. Let's not wait till like the last minute. Let's not wait till the month before election and now everybody's trying to donate. Now everybody's trying to do the phone banking. We can continue to do that now. We can even for the people who are in South Carolina, we can go out there and we can still pass out some of the flyers. I still have some flyers I have. So next time I come out there, I'll be passing the flyers out. So we can be passing out the flyers and putting up the stuff so people can get your name out now. That can be done now. You know, we got to start the work today. Definitely. If you I don't know how much time you have, but I know some other people would have some comments. They would like to comments and questions. If you don't mind, we can get to some of the hands. They just want to thank you real quick before you left. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Marcel, is that okay? Do you have time for that? You're gonna
Yep,
be
that's fine.
respectful. Okay. All right. With that being said, Demi, you can go ahead.
Hi, family. Hi, everybody. Hi, Afro Lily. Hi, Marcel, Nikki. How everybody doing? Blessings to everybody in the room. Just to stick to the topic, strategies, and moving forward. First of all, I wanted to say, Marcel, he is so right. He only had a little bit of time, but he reached so many people, people that was far off as far as California knew about Marcel. So imagine, like Afro said, that we had more time or whatever. I wanted to just make some suggestions, being those that I grew up in the South. The Southern people, they got three values that I know of that was instilled in me, and that's God, family, and food. And once you get to those three things, you kind of have to press on those three things. As far as I know, my mother, for she votes Democrat no matter what. Like, you could tell her, well, Mom, why you doing that? She's still gonna do it. It's like it's been passed down like a blanket for us. And once I told her about Marcel, she was excited, but not in his district. But still, the point is, we need to have religious advocates. We need to have meet and greet advocates. We need to have social media advocates. We need to have phone banking advocates, boots on the ground, branding, building up his treasure chest, transportation. We need to have poll watchers, people trolling on the internet. All of these are different bodies, different groups to make up the unit. We have to act as a unit to help this brother. Me, I'm not so good at some of these things, but I'm good at other things. We all need to work together, get in where we fit in. But there's so many different avenues that we all need to come together on. Like he said, I don't know if any of you watched it, but I would suggest y'all looking at that 20 Mules documentary, for what Marcel was talking about the votes. I know it's being pushed by the Republican Party or a Republican, but that documentary.
Hey, I'm sorry. You are someone I literally got a phone call from, well, I'm gonna keep it confidential, 2 days ago, and someone just told me to watch it because they said they were looking at my numbers and they were looking at all the input I did, and then they saw the output, the numbers I got according to what was shown, and they said you need to watch 20 News. I said, what is that? And they told me to watch it, and for what I've seen so far, it's firing off on all cylinders. That's all I'm going to say.
It'll make a lot of sense when you watch it, my beautiful family. When you watch it, you will know why some of the people like Maxine Waters, these people that have been in Congress for centuries, you like, man, but they're not doing anything. How do they keep winning? Watch this documentary and you will know, you will understand. But those are just my suggestions. I'm willing to be a part of any of them for Marcel via remote. And come time to come down there, I have no problem with handing out flyers or being boots on the ground for my brother at any given moment.
Well,
Okay,
thank you for
so
that. Thank you for that.
you welcome.
Like I said, everybody, we're all in this. We are all in this as a family. We gotta. This is bigger than Jim Clyburn. This is about the fate of Black America in general. This is about everybody. This is about the kids, about the fact that the kids are growing up. If you would have seen, and I'm passionate about this because first off, I believed what Marcel was saying in the beginning. But if you would have seen what I've seen the conditions that these people are living in, you would feel very much so motivated. You damn near walk from wherever you are to South Carolina to help our brother. So, and I'm not telling anybody to do that, but I'm saying everybody can do something. You know, as much as the likes and retweets and everything, that's cool, that's cute and all, but we got to take it a step above. We got to step it up a notch. You know, phone banking, like he said, volunteer work, like he said, donating, like he said, all of these things, we all got to participate. Now we have years to plan this, so I don't want anybody here. Oh, I just can't do it. I mean, you clear your calendar, clear your calendar for this.
I want to say too, y'all. So the best thing right now, again, if you can keep donating, and I'm going to announce this, that I was kind of giving people a chance to process because I know feelings were strong about it. I mean, we all knew it was going to be an uphill battle. And again, I'm not saying I won, but I do believe strongly that I got way more numbers than what they're showing. But that's a whole other conversation. But the best thing right now, if you could just donate $5 a week, that helps because I'm not going to start campaigning right now, as in I've officially relaunched my campaign. Because if I start too early, people are going to forget me. But right now, my responsibility is to go out there and make relationships. If I had throughout my entire campaign what I had in the last 2 months, I had money, not a whole lot, but I had money. I got an endorsement, a powerful endorsement. His name is Dr. Johnny Cordero. He's the founder of the South Carolina Black Caucus. So you know he's powerful. To start a Black Caucus in South Carolina, okay, need I say more? He endorsed me just from hearing me speak. That speech I gave in that tan suit with the red tie at the state convention. So I need to make connections now. That's my responsibility. Develop relationships, make connections. So when I do launch my campaign, I already have built-in support. Another responsibility I have is something that Stacey Abrams did. And y'all may be saying, oh, Marcel, don't say your whole strategy online. Y'all, Clyde Bum is many things, but he's not stupid. He's a terrible politician. He's anti-black, but he's not dumb. He already knows voter registration. Okay? I need to register voters. That is one thing I didn't think to do. And by the time we thought of it, we only had like a month left to do it. I went to the baby's concert even to register people of that age group there. We did. I'm proud to say we did register like 500 to 600 people. That's pretty significant for little old me. But I need to do what Stacey Abrams did for, she gets on my nerves, but look what she did in Georgia. She registered hundreds of thousands of people to vote. You know why Stacey Abrams did that? Because she knew then that she was going to do now what she's doing, run for governor. And she pretty much registered her voters. She was like, okay, I see Georgia is a very black state, but it's still a lot of white conservatives and black people who just ain't rocking with me because you ain't doing a damn thing for them. So she was like, I'm going to go out there and register my base. So I have to register people too. Clyburn, our district is 445 to 500,000 voters. Clyburn at the most gets like 140, 150,000. Of the primary, he only got 48,000 of the Democratic vote, which is somewhere like 350 something thousand. He's not a popular politician. I just have to get those people who are disengaged to show up for me and register more people to show up for me. So I have my homework to do too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I can tell you from firsthand experience, most of the people I talk to can't stand Jim Clyburn. A lot of people don't understand it was a low turnout in general for this election because people aren't motivated to vote. So we have to, as a family, we have to work to show people that there is a better alternative to Jim Clyburn. And with that being said, I do want to get to the hands while we still have some. Well, Marcel is still here, so Ryan, you can go ahead.
Hey Marcel, it's Ryan. Thank you so much for being like I think you're like one of the best candidates for this whole thing, and you did an amazing job like coming in 6 or 7 months ago, like out of nowhere, and like look what you did. I think, yeah, it's amazing. So my comments, I just like, I can help with some branding stuff. I can help with some stuff like that. I think like, this is another thing, but like unity behind reparations, I know it's like, it can be one of those dualistic things, but like getting everybody on it, still work on that. Like, and then here's this funny little concept. I'm just going to tell you one thing. My dad told me long ago, he had a smart uncle who opened up a shop next to this furniture store. So it's like this piggyback concept where this big furniture store like opened up. They had a big, huge business, and then this little company, all they did was they put a little sign that said entrance, and everyone like went to that place instead. I don't know if you can do anything like that, but like piggybacking on something else, like you're talking about, you reminded me of it when you said you were going to put your face with Clyburn on a billboard. I think that's a genius idea. And anything like that, like brainstorming in that thought. So like getting I also was thinking like Afro Elite with the Republican thing, wondering, but I think you're right. All, with the Democrats. So stick with them, do what works. Like you said, push the relationships and the connections and family business. Like if we could get, I'm over here in California, but family businesses would be huge. If they could support you, like the crab thing, the fish stuff. Anyway, these are just like things that I'm thinking of, but yeah, I'm all for you. So I'm proud of you, and I'll land my plane.
Thank you, Ryan. Another thing I want to say, y'all, I don't know if this is going to go over with y'all, but it's the truth. This is going to sound funny, so hear me out first. I focused too much on us as Black Americans. And here's what I mean by that. I did not reach, this is going to sound so annoying because y'all know this word is just annoying. It irritates me. You know that word, coalition? I can't stand that word. Coalition, rainbow coalition, people of color coalition, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stuff, right? But I should have built a coalition. And here's what I mean. I should have reached out to white conservatives more. I made a mistake by not doing that. I just thought that by saying that, letting them know I'm against illegal immigration, which I am strongly against abortion, probably more than almost anyone I know. I'm 428. I thought that, if they saw me, they would say, oh, okay, let's vote for him. That's not how it works. The same way a lot of black Democrats here will not vote for a Republican no matter what, a lot of white Republicans here will not vote for a Democrat no matter what, unless you talk to them. There is a black guy here running as a Republican. He is a Trumper. I mean, for some reason, he likes me. He sees me. He'll pull over and talk to me wherever I am. Don't matter. He will want to talk to me forever, even when I'm trying to go. But he's like a Trumper. But he's getting black Democrats to listen to him because he's going to them and talking to them. Sometimes talking to people works. Now, I do talk to anyone. I came across white Republicans, of course I did, when I would be out and about, but I never made an effort to go and speak to them. That was a mistake. I shot myself in the foot by not doing that. You know why? I thought that the door will be closed the moment they heard I was for reparations. So my attitude was, if I bump into them, I'm going to let them know what I'm for. They don't have to like it. Tough. I was wrong. I should not do what I always blame others for doing. Like, I remember I asked those people who were in that room talking about LGBTQ stuff, and I was like, I went after Pete Buttigieg. Remember that one guy was like, well, if I ever saw him, I'll tell him that too. No, you're supposed to go at him. You're supposed to pursue him. We have to pursue voters. I should not let any potential voter stay on the table. I got to take all potential votes. There are white Republicans who are smart enough to know that a Democrat is never going to win my district. My district is 73% Democrat. They're smart enough to see that, okay, I don't like reparations. And first of all, y'all, here's another surprise. Some white Republicans I spoke with did support reparations. Now, how they supported it, that's a whole other story. But some of them would even acknowledge after I was through with them, yeah, this country owes y'all something. I don't need them to agree with me on reparations. I just need them to vote for me. And what you do with that is you help people find common ground. I went to a baseball game, white people galore. And usually here, when it's a lot of white people, usually the ones that are racist, they feel very comfortable being racist when they're around other white people. But nothing happened. I thought something like that was going to happen. It didn't happen. So sometimes I cut myself off from a potential chain of votes. Next time, I'm going to those white baseball games. I'm going to those white bowling alley competitions. You know why? Because they may not vote for me because they want reparations, but they will vote for me because they say, you know what? We're going to get a Democrat one way or the other. We might as well get a Democrat who's going to stop illegals from coming in here. We might as well get a Democrat who's going to stop black children, and I'm not saying they care about black children, but black children from being aborted. Over 20 million. That's more than some whole damn countries, okay? That's more. That's over half the population of the Caribbean. We might as well vote for a black person who's pro 2A. I made a mistake by just pigeonholing myself in the black American vote. I didn't do a good enough job. And yes, I already said why, because of money, because of lack of presence, for a lot of reasons. Getting my message out to the black voters, because a lot of them didn't even know about me. But I also should have been reaching out more to the white Republican voters. I plan to do that. And before anyone sitting in the crowd thinking back and say, oh, he going to start modifying or toning down, no, that ain't going to happen with me. I'm just going to tell them, like I did in that commercial, I'm that reparations guy. And you may not agree with that, but here's some other things I know you do care about. That's what I'm gonna start doing. When I released that commercial, I had a lot of Republicans reach out to me. Whatever reason, didn't go anywhere. I don't know why. Sometimes they are afraid of supporting a candidate who has something like reparations on his platform. But even if I get just 5% of the white Republican vote, that's still a lot of votes. So I need to do that too. And also another mistake I made. This was a big one too. I had some Hispanics here who were supportive of me, right? But I told my campaign manager, no, I ain't gonna go to their restaurants. No, I'm not giving them flyers. That was a mistake. I was like, the moment they see how anti illegal immigration I am and how I call out Latinos for their racism, they ain't gonna mess with me, and I'm not gonna give them my flyers. They just throw it away when I leave. That was a mistake. I need to stop making up people's minds for them. I don't know how people are going to respond. My job is not to respond for people. My job is to educate people, inform people, and let them decide how they're going to respond. So I need to be more visible in all settings. That was something I should have done, and I'm going to do that. I am going to stand my ground like I've always done. I mean, I met those people. I just didn't go to their events to speak to them. I'm going to start doing that more.
Hey, I'm gonna say this real quick before we move on to Rich and then Aisha and then Jason. They've been telling us we need to um vote for the lesser of two evils. We've been voting for the lesser of two evils for generations. So I wouldn't mind putting white people in that position where they feel like they need to vote for the lesser of two evils. If they're going to get a Democrat either way, then you might as well say, hey, well, at least I'm against abortion. At least I'm against illegal immigration. At least I'm pro gun. So why don't we put the pressure on them that they've been putting on us for all these years? Make them vote for the lesser of two evils. You know, a vote is a vote. With that being said, let's get to Rich. Rich, you can unmute yourself, brother.
First, I want to start off by saying, because I hear a lot of criticism, and criticism is good. This is how you get better. But I actually want to point out the things that I think, in my opinion, Marcel did very well. I think him speaking to the black grassroots, that was very good. Because you know your politicians, the average politician is not getting next to Afro Elite. The average politician is not getting next to Rich or Nas or whoever. They're not doing that. They think they're too bougie to speak to real black people. They could only speak to you if you have a blue check. So I think Marcel speaking to the black grassroots, that was great. That was excellent. He stayed with the people. Second, I think him being on the internet was very good also because, as you know, we all got our phones in our hands. And if you want to get your message out, get your message out as fast as possible, the first place you should go is the internet. So I think that's another thing he did, being on the internet, staying on the internet. That was excellent. Third, the third thing I think that he did that was very great, I think he spoke with passion, he spoke with enthusiasm, and he spoke with energy. And, I'm in sales. And when you're trying to sell yourself, that type of energy is what you need. You need to have enthusiasm. You need to have passion. People need to feel you. Most of these politicians that speak, they don't even know how to speak. They speak and they just sound boring. One thing about Marcel, he doesn't sound boring. So that's another plus. I think he should continue speaking with passion and enthusiasm. The fourth and last thing that I think he done very well was he did hundreds of interviews. I mean, I woke up 6 o'clock in the morning, this nigga doing an interview. 7 in the morning, he's doing 8, 9, 10. He was always doing an interview. And that's another thing that's very good. You gotta be out there. You gotta be speaking to every single person, even people you don't agree with. You want to have an interview with everyone because everyone have a different platform. Like Afro Elite, he has 2,000 YouTube subscribers. Tariq has 200,000 YouTube subscribers. Jason Black has about 150 YouTube subscribers. So when you go out there and you speak to you do every single interview, you're introducing yourself to different crowds. So I think that was something excellent that he did. Um, but to move on to the things that I think, you know, I not only Marcel, but because one thing I realized about him running the first time, he focused on him. We focused on him instead of focusing on us. We kept saying, "Okay, this is what Marcel needs to do. This is what Marcel needs to do." No, no, no. We gotta say this is what we need to do because we the one that want him in office. So we gotta put in that work. So we gotta take those trips to South Carolina because here's the thing: we all support Marcel. I believe we all do. That's in here. But guess what? Most of us are not from South Carolina, so we can't even vote for him if we wanted to. So we actually have to take our asses down to South Carolina next time and get those people that live out there to go ahead and vote for him and do the groundwork. We could actually do that too. We could go out there and turn people into supporters of him. So while we're not there, they could be canvassing and doing boots on the ground stuff. I'm not gonna hold up the line. A few more things I wanna say. In sales, it takes about 12 times for someone to remember you. That's how much time someone has to see you for them to say, okay, I know who this guy is.
Yep, I'm sorry. I want to cut you off. Yeah, that's why it used to be 3, but people now told me it went up to 12 because of the proliferation of social media and stuff. So I was like, damn, I found that out way too late because it used to be 3 to 6 contacts. Now it's 12. So yeah, I just had that conversation with someone today.
Yeah. So I heard someone come up here and say, the sister, she came up here and she said, yeah, I was on the phone and I was doing phone banking for Marcel, and a lot of the people didn't want to support Marcel. It's not that they don't want to support Marcel, they don't know who he is. Imagine someone calling your phone and you got no idea who this person is, and they trying to sell you on somebody. You don't even know how this person look. You never met him. You don't know nothing about him. Back in the days, you could call somebody once and sell them. Now, like I said, it takes 12 times just for somebody to remember you, not even to like you, just so they can remember who you are. So, footwork has to be done starting from today, not tomorrow, not the following week. No, we got to start doing footwork today and remove all that pressure off of Marcel and do real work. We're sitting in these damn Twitter spaces all day talking about uh, fried chicken and this, that, and the third, and this music video. Man, F that. You say you B1, you say you FBA, quote unquote. Well, here's your opportunity to do real things by putting in real work, and I'll land right there.
And I'm gonna say this right before we get to Aisha and then Jason. I'm gonna say I'm planning on, and I'm letting this be known now. I'm planning on getting a van, renting a van, because I just took my car and I just drove by myself. I didn't even let anybody know I was coming out there. But I'm planning on ahead of time announcing that I'm gonna go out there, getting a van, and bringing other people along with me. I'm gonna book a hotel room. We're gonna get out there ahead of time, not just the day of. I feel like I got out there a little bit too late, so I'm gonna try to get out there earlier and stay longer so I can put in the groundwork. So we're definitely going to be putting in the groundwork. I'm already strategizing on how I'm gonna get that done now.
One last thing I want to say: if we could actually take turns, like let's say a year from now, we could 12 group of people could go out once a month, another 12 the following month. We all could take turns. Whoever you rock with, stick with them. Go out there on your own. Just we separate in groups. Like, okay, we got this 12 here. I know I rock with Afro. I know I rock with Nino. Me and Nino and Afro going out there. Your group of people, they can go. So we could do that every single month. A new group of people could go out there and put in real work. And I'll land right there.
Yeah, like I said, this is gonna take more than retweets, and this isn't to undermine the support the families gave, but we got to step it up. We got to step it up. We're doing a good job. We're doing a good job. Let's just finish them off next time. We got them next time. So, Aisha, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, my name is Aisha and I'm here in Atlanta. Thank you all. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you, Afro Elite. I have one comment and I have one suggestion. The first comment is Marcel, I would have to disagree with you. I do not think you made a mistake by speaking to the Black audience and speaking to Black people. I feel like you came out of the gate running. You came out of the gate hitting. Like you have to take care of home first. You were speaking to us. You were powerful. You actually woke me up. Like I was actually into politics for a while, but after Obama's second term and up until now, I've become very disengaged. And when I heard you speak, I'm like, hold up, this brother speaking my language. Like, I'm loving it. So I do not think you made a mistake. However, moving forward, the new strategy could be that you want to appeal to more voters. So that's what I'll say about that. And then also, my second comment is One thing that I noticed about you when you were doing interviews were your t-shirts, the Marcel for Congress t-shirt and the Geechee t-shirt. So although I believe donations are great, I believe that you need to add a link to your website and sell those shirts. After I watched like so many of your interviews, I wanted those shirts so bad. I went on Google, I went on your website. I wanted to purchase them. So I just feel like that's another piece. We need to sell. So we need to accept money. Money needs to come in, but money, something needs to flow out. So that this needs to be like another stream of like income. I've exchanged a few messages with Nas, so I'm not just offering this suggestion. I'm willing to help in any way, capacity that I can. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, and I agree. The selling the t-shirts, that also increases your money, and that's name recognition. People walking around with your name on their shirt, they're seeing Marcel for Congress, that gets stuck in their head. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone with that.
Right.
That's a
It
good
brings
idea.
money, it brings recognition, and it's promotion. So yeah. Now you see when I started, I had nothing. So someone made those shirts for me, B1 Beauty Supply. She made those shirts for me as a gift. And now, what's their name? I just shouted them out. Something, let me look. They just sent me a whole box of shirts and I shouted them out. They sent me a whole box, all types of colors. Let me get their name. I only have room for all this stuff. People be saying Teaspoon Couture. I forgot who they are online, but they know who they are. So now I do want to have merchandise being sold because that is an excellent way. It's like a walking, talking billboard.
Yeah, that was a great idea. That was a great idea. That's a pretty good idea. You know, everything we missed this time going around, we understand we were late. We understand the funds were low, but we're definitely going to fix everything. We're going to be a well-oiled machine come next election.
Yeah, I just
Jason,
wanted
you
to add, I'm sorry. I just wanted to add one simple thing. When you watch Marcel's interviews, you have like some common like sayings and some things that stick out. So like the Geechee, I don't know if you want to put out those Geechee shirts that you have, but you need to have like Geechee Marcel for Congress or something like that. And then you mentioned Low Country. Yeah, so just if we can look at some key themes from your interviews and let those things be on your t-shirts. That's it.
good idea. Marketing is very important. Got to get his name out there. Got to have people remember him. Jason, you can go ahead.
Um, Thank y'all for letting me speak. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank y'all for letting me speak. So I got a lot of things, but I'll try to summarize it to keep it short. So number one, Marcel actually kind of took the words out of my mouth, or what I was going to say when I first decided to request to speak, and that was about the, not reaching out to other constituencies, or seeming like you are focusing on Black people too much. And I would say this. So, and this is like a question slash suggestion to
Hey,
Marcel.
let me just say real quick. I just want to be very clear. I didn't say I was focusing on Black people too much, but that I failed to reach out to get votes from other demographics that would have been willing to vote for me. I will never, ever, ever, ever say I focus on my people too much. That's impossible in a country that has always neglected and abused and terrorized my people for centuries. I just want to be clear about that. Just clarify it.
Oh, no, no problem. And actually, I think we're on the same page, or we're thinking along the same lines. Because what I was going to say was, and like I said, this is like a question slash suggestion, is not to obviously abandon any of the things you've been promoting, because they're all 100%, 1000% right to promote. But because, like, let's say, and this is for any of us, put yourselves in the shoes of a Hispanic or someone else. You see Marcel and you see him only talking about, you're going to think, oh, well, he's not going to do shit for me. Why am I going to vote for him? He's clearly only going to help Black people. So, Marcel, my question slash suggestion is not to abandon anything that you've already promoted, but have you thought about maybe adding in other policies that don't just primarily benefit us, like maybe student forgiveness or Medicare, et cetera? So that was my first thing.
Those things, hold on. I want to talk about those things have always been on my platform. I've had my rural transportation plan, my car maintenance assistance program, my education plan, which is going to equitably fund schools, give teachers, paraprofessionals, coaches, receptionists, janitors, cafeteria employees pay raises, and bring more guidance counselors, child psychiatrists into schools. My community plan with a livable wage, uh, government quality afforded sponsored child care, health care, but with a big focus too on health care, mental care, all those type of things I've had, bringing industry to my district, especially like tidal, people talk about solar energy, wind energy, but tidal energy from the rising, lowering tides, bringing industries to my district. What people wanted me to do, though, was put black people were getting so offended whenever I would say I'm specifically going to do things for Black Americans. People always wanted me to put other groups in front. People, it was not that I didn't have policies for other people, it was that other people were upset that I had policies for Black people. So anyone who came to me, I'm not saying you're saying this, but anyone who came to me talking about, oh, well, I ain't Black, so you're going to help me, they're a damn liar. They're just an anti-Black bigot, mad because I had the audacity to put Black Americans first because they feel I should do what has always been done in this country and put Black Americans last. So I've always had policies that's going to help other groups. If any group did not see that, they didn't want to see it. I not only had those policies, I spoke about them all the time. It's not my fault that people are so anti-Black that they'll rather not vote for you because God forbid you do something to specifically help Black people and not put Black people last. So if that's going to cause me to lose votes, then I guess I'm just going to be losing a lot of elections because that's not going to ever change.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Jason, did you land? Oh, I also put in the Jumbotron, Marcel, you tweeted this about the shirts, so um, if we can get started on selling those shirts, getting those shirts together so we can sell those shirts, that's definitely something that we should do, especially when we go down there. I'm thinking when we go down there, when I go down there next time I do, we could be selling shirts with, you know, selling shirts, have the fish fry or whatever type of event we can fund. If we put our heads together, we can fund a whole event, and then a bunch of us can go down there. It's like a fundraiser. We can bring food, and then we can sell shirts. Marcel, you can be there as like a guest speaker. We can have music. I know some people in here are actually very talented with music. We can have people playing musical instruments and rapping and telling jokes. And I'm just brainstorming right now, to be honest, but I think that if we put our heads together and we get the funds together, we can do something like that. We can do something really big like that. That's just me brainstorming, but let's go Afro Bubbles. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, then we'll do Rich.
Oh, hey everybody. Hey family, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I think I hit that um request on
You hit it on accident? Okay, okay. Well, I'm just knock you down then. I'm just put you in listener. Um, unless, yeah. All right then. Rich, you can go ahead.
Let me say this, you know, for anyone else who's going to come up here and request to speak, if you have any suggestions, I think if you find something that wasn't done the first time around and you feel like it should have been done, well, maybe you should, possibly think about taking that task on. So if you feel like, you know, Marshall was lacking in marketing or advertising, say, okay, cool, I'll take that job. I'll take that because He's only one man. He needs people around him. So if you find something that might have been missing the first time around, don't be afraid to take that job on, whatever you believe it is. So if you say, I feel like there should have been more people out there, then bring your ass out there. No, don't say, there should have been more people out there, and next time around you ain't there. Whatever you feel like is missing, take on that task. Like I felt like I'm in marketing, I'm in sales, I'm in real estate. So I understand marketing. I feel like, the marketing could have been better. And if Marcel wants, if I'll speak to him or whatever the case may be, I'll take a job doing the marketing. I'll come up with a marketing plan. But whatever your gift is, bring your gift to the table and contribute. And I'll land right there.
Exactly. Everybody got to pull their weight. Everybody has to pull their weight. We're all talented in different areas. We all have some people have resources, some people have time, some people are down there, some people, I mean, everybody can do something. Everybody can do something, and everybody needs to do something, because we had a whole lot of people talking about how much they supported Marcel, but those people didn't donate, and those people didn't participate in the phone banking. We need more than just talk, family. We need more than just talk. Jason, you can go ahead. And wait, before you go, somebody sent me a question that they wanted to ask Marcel. Um, they asked, he just checked that the NAACP in South Carolina interview local candidates, and they also pay them for flyers and things like that. I'm just trying to summarize it. So the NAACP pretty much is what the person is saying is helping local candidates. Have you thought of positioning Friedman to join the NAACP so they can make sure he gets an interview panel? So that was the question somebody sent me to ask you, Marcel.
3 years ago, when I was long before I came across reparations, maybe it was like 4 years ago now, I was trying to make Black history mandatory in schools. I called the NAACP in my state, the headquarters, and pretty much they seemed overwhelmed. They weren't nasty. The one in Atlanta, which is the national headquarters, were nasty and rude. But because God forbid you ask for do something for Black people, but the ones here in my state, they were just overwhelmed. I could just tell that they were mainly older people and they were overwhelmed. And I guess I just subconsciously blocked them out and forgot about them. But reaching out to them is not a bad idea. I need supporters wherever I can get them. And I just, I never considered reaching out to them or working with them because the NAACP overall sucks, but there are good branches. And like I say with Narcan and Cobra, even though those organizations as an organization are terrible, but there are good people who are truly for reparations within those organizations, and I need not ever cut them all. So that's not something I ever thought about. I don't know why. I guess so many things I had to deal with. I never thought about reaching out to NAACP. I think I did once, but I don't think I've acted on it. And that is something I'm definitely going to look into. So thank you for that. Whoever said that, that's a good idea. I mean, I have to build relationships. That's what I need to be doing with this time, building relationships and allies. And y'all know the word allies is a scary word for Black people to use. That's a whole other conversation, though.
Yeah.
Afro, could
Yeah,
I say
because
something real quick?
go ahead.
Let me just say this real quick. I'll say this. If we're missing money that is needed, we can compensate that by having people do the work. So if Marcel needs $1 million and he ain't got it, if we got 1 million soldiers, we could get the work done just the same way. And I'll land right there.
Yeah. Um everybody, like I said, everybody got to pull their own weight. Everybody got to do their part. To touch on what you said, Marcel, you know, when it comes to allies, the reason why Black people, specifically Foundation Black Americans, are turned off by the word allies is because we know every time another group is involved in anything that we're involved in, we're always going to be second behind whatever group that is. So anytime they say Black and brown, we already know automatically that they're going to put the brown before the black if they involve the black at all. So I don't necessarily see it as a problem with you reaching out to other groups of people, because a vote is a vote. As long as you're staying on your platform, which I know you're going to do, which you've already said you're going to do, as long as you don't pivot off of your promises to black people, you know, whoever votes, votes. You know,
Let
a
me tell
vote is a
y'all,
vote.
we have no allies, y'all. That's just the sad truth. And let me tell y'all, there, South Carolina, we have some white liberals and we have the white conservatives. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I'll take the white conservatives any day. I've had more anti-blackness shown towards me to these white liberals here than any other group. The coons, I don't know I think it's the coons that have been the most despicable towards me than the white liberals. The white conservatives, I don't have any problems from. They just usually ignore me. Or if I call them, they hang up. Or, they'll just take my flyer, look at it, and keep it moving. But rarely will they say anything out of the way. White liberals have been rude. They will tell people not to vote for me because I am anti-choice. I guess they feel black women aborting their kids over 20 million because they can't raise their kids because they feel too impoverished to raise their kids, thus robbing them of their choice because they never got reparations. I guess they're okay with that. They talk about something, they're pro choice, I'm pro chance. Let's give black people a chance to raise their families and have the economic prosperity that we should have had a long time ago. So, unfortunately, we have no allies, y'all. But, we do have people who will be willing to vote for me because, it's not permanent enemies, not permanent friends, but permanent interests and shared interests at any given moment.
Absolutely. We're in an anti-black race war. Any advantage, anything we can do to get the advantage, we got to do it. We have to do it. And so you guys, just so you guys know, this doesn't mean Marcel is going to calm down on the black talk. That's not what this means. He's not going to go soft on black people. I mean, go soft just so he can appeal to more people. He's just going to say, hey, I'm just going to not block them off. I'm just not going to burn the bridge ahead of time, you know? So it's a big difference from, well, I got to attract other people, or I'm just not going to burn the bridge so other people can come and vote. That's a big difference. Um, Jason, you can go ahead. Then we'll go with Brian.
So yeah, just real quick, two other things. Number one, and this is more outside of just Marcel, but honestly, to the point where he was mentioning, some suspected corruption. I believe that, our political system is very corrupt. And whenever we are living in districts where we don't have a Marcel running, or even if we do, but he loses in the primary and we're on to the general, or she loses in the primary and we move on to the general election stage. I honestly think a little bit of disenfranchisement is actually a good thing, because our parties are incredibly controlled and corrupted by higher powers, whatever you want to call them, oligarchs, white supremacists, whatever. So because of that type of thing, even when somebody like Marcel does run, there's some suspected corruption and undermining. There should be a willingness to some degree. And again, as long as we have a grassroots candidate running, I'm not saying don't vote for that person like Marcel, but if we have that, or if that person has already lost in an earlier stage, we should be open to not voting. And I just think that that's a big problem with black people. We feel like we're obligated to vote. Like we have to vote, even though there's nothing to vote for, when they control who's on the ballot, all that type of stuff. So basically, long story short, we need to be open to not voting, because to me, that sends a message that we may take another route. If you don't start in an honest political system where the will of the people is truly reflected, we might take another route. Not saying that we will, or what route we might take, but just that the threat of that possibility, I think, can be very effective. And then the very last thing I have to say is, the thing about, and I agree with what Marcel said about having to, running as a Democrat, because of that's where our people are and that's where you're going to meet them. That's, to me, that's just an undeniable truth. But when you think about that, that's a problem, because the question is why. Now I know why, but that mentality needs to be broken. Because I don't need to see a D next to somebody's name to vote for them. I just need to see their policies, and that just make brings me back to the importance of education. And I hate that word because a lot of times it's used as a deflection, but in this case, I think it applies. We have to work on getting a lot of people's minds right so that they don't have to see a D in order to vote for someone, and they're more focused on the policies as opposed to, oh, this is a Democrat. Because just like someone is trained to vote for a Democrat, they're also trained to support people who support the policies that Democrats support. So if they hear Marcel against immigration, et cetera, they're going to say, oh, well, that's not good. That's not a good person because Democrats are good people and Democrats support immigration, et cetera, et cetera. So I just think education is important. And I would say this for Marcel, but for everybody, for all of us, me, everybody in this space, we all need to do our part. Marcel, I think when you do events, you should either do a speech or have just one-on-one conversations where you're talking to people about, why you're deviating from their Democrat policies so that they can understand and be a little bit more educated. But again, not just on Marcel, he's just one man. So that's on us too, whether it's in social media, real life, etc. We have to help do what we can, each of us as an individual and also as a collective, to help people's get their minds right so that they're not voting like sheep and robots. Because if they continue to do that, then no matter what Marcel says, to some degree, they're going to keep voting for Clyde Burns and whoever else, whatever other district they're living in. But that's all I got to say. I'll land my plane. Thank y'all for letting me speak.
Well, thank you, Marcel. Before we get to Brian, Marcel, I wanted to ask you a question. I know there was a lot of underhanded, shisty stuff going on with the polls. I know a lot of the mail-in ballots. I know people have been saying that those were undercounted. Your votes were undercounted, or you know, pretty much shiesty stuff. And I know when it comes to mail-in ballots, that can be easily finessed. People can easily finesse mail-in ballots, and I'm starting to see that's probably a tactic that the Democrats are going to go for now. They're going to be all like, "Well, we won by mail-in ballots," because it's a lot easier to finesse a mail-in ballot than it is for somebody to actually go up there and vote. But I heard you in another space. You were talking about there was a recount going on and you didn't concede defeat. So can you speak to that and then update us as far as what the recount is and how that's going?
Well, no, I said I was going to request a recount, but South Carolina law, a recount cannot be requested. It can only happen if the margin is less than 1% between two candidates. So there will be no recount happening. Now, a person can protest the certification of a vote, request an investigation, and we're exploring all options. But like I said, these people are shady and they do things in back rooms. They have little readings. They don't write. They don't call each other. They meet face to face in rooms where they make sure nothing is being recorded, and they do all type of shady stuff. Because I'm not believing those numbers, and you got people who are running against me, not even believing those numbers. I wanted to speak to Jason's point. Okay, our people definitely are not politically astute. We're not. I don't care about your saying. I'm not here trying to boost us up and tell us we're so politically astute when we're not. If we were, we wouldn't be allowing ourselves to have gotten nothing for 60 years, falling further to the bottom while giving almost all of our votes to a party that goes out its way to do policies for other groups and nothing for us. So we're not politically astute people. But no, Black Americans are not. By and large, Black Americans are socially conservative. So when I speak against abortion, Black Americans are usually very, very big for it. Don't let these little young coons here in South Carolina who call themselves coming for me and they blocked me when I started going in on them. Don't let them think. Don't let them make you think that's how most Black Democrats are in South Carolina. Most Blacks in South Carolina want Black babies to be born. Most Blacks in South Carolina are angry with illegal immigration. Most Blacks in South Carolina do not want their guns being taken. We know we need our guns just in case we have to fend off racist police officers or any type of attacks to our safety because we know the one's going to come to our defense. So while I agree with you, you're saying that I have to always make the case whatever I say. That's something I always do. But no, in South Carolina, it is not unpopular and not out of alignment with the black people to be against illegal immigration, to be against abortion, and to be for 2A. That is actually not out of alignment. I don't care what these little young prepubescent coons say.
All right, all right. Brian, you can go ahead.
All right, thank you. Can you hear my mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make it real quick. First of all, Marcel, you have a lot of talent, brother. For somebody who just stepped in and you only been doing this for the last few months, you have a lot of talent. I don't know if you really know that. I want you to stay encouraged. One of my questions I'm going to ask you before I get off is, because of all the shystiness that was in the polls, do you think you might be better off running under a Republican platform, and do you think that you might lose the voters down there? Because you're correct, a lot of us in the community are not that political astute. So would you might be better to run under a Republican platform than Democratic platform, since they try to undermine you anyway? And lastly, what I was going to say is, for somebody who, I've seen being belittled as a nobody candidate, you sure caught the attention of Yvette Carnell and Bakari Sellers, because it seems like they went out of their way to try to ridicule you. And I just want you to speak on that, brother, because what's up with Yvette, and Bakari, because they have really gone out of the way. And I've had a problem. I've debated some of these people that are really, I don't know, under their sheets, I guess, that are just really riding with him, like, in this ridiculing of you. I said, well, for somebody who's a nobody candidate, you guys are really going out of your way to put this man down. So I just want you to speak on Yvette Carnell and why they're going out of the way to try to put you down, brother. But I want to say I'm proud of you, and I'm going to land my plane on that.
Thank you, Brian. So I want to talk about running as a Republican. The Democrats are awful, and they're worse than the Republicans, because the Republicans, Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott, they're not getting 90 to 95% of the black vote and going around telling us how morally superior they are to the other group of people and how the other group of people are bad for black people, and then getting our votes and being worse than the other group. But the difference is, when Republicans are in charge, everyone suffers. When the Democrats are in charge, only black people suffer. They're going to go out their way to help every other group except for black people. When Republicans are in charge, they're just not going to do a damn thing for anyone. The Republicans don't go around telling black Americans that they are morally superior and we need them to save us. The Democrats do. The Republicans don't get 90 to 95% of our vote. The Democrats do. So that being said, however, the Republicans have failed to come through with a black agenda as well. They failed to get a reparations platform as well. The crazy thing is, the only Republican who was about to do that was Donald Trump with the Platinum Plan. Now, the Platinum Plan was, woefully insufficient, but he actually was trying to do a black agenda. Donald Trump was actually opening offices, outreach offices to black Americans throughout the South. He was actually trying to coach the black vote more than any other politician I can think of has ever had, with some actual policies. And I'm not even a Donald Trump fan. I will not run as a Republican, one, because the Democrats are the ones that get most black votes, so they owe us those policies. It would be a dream come through for them, for me to say, okay, I'm running as an independent or I'm running as a Republican. No, I have been giving them all out holy hell. Okay, when I went to that state convention, I called them out in front of hundreds of people about how we as black Americans have been showing up for them, but now they're going to show up for us. I gave them holy hell about doing a resolution about protecting Ukrainian land while doing absolutely nothing about the fact that black Americans have lost over 90% of our land. I went in on them, and I was able to speak to the majority of the people that vote for them, which is South Carolina. 70% of Democrats are black Americans. So I'm giving them hell from the inside, because that's where our money is being kept, on the inside, in their piggy banks, and I'm going to get what we're owed from them. So yes, I thought about it, but no, I'm not going to let the Democrats get off that easy. That's been the problem for the past 60 years. They've been selling us out, neglecting us, doing actual policies to hurt us, and getting away with it. And when we stand up against them, we usually do it as an independent or as a Republican. But that's not hurting them. because we're not on the inside with them. But when I'm on the inside with them, I'm giving them hell from the inside, and they can't get away from me. Because whatever event they have, I have every right to be there, and I'm going to show up to be there, and I'm going to pound this horn. And I'm also educating our people who vote for them to say, hey, wait a minute, before I give you my vote, what you saying about this land we've been stolen? Trust me, that's happening. As far as Fresh Prince of Bel Air goes and her talking about me, I I mean, she can talk about me, but she knows better than to say something to me. If you got so much to say about me, I would expect at some point you would actually say something to me. She hasn't done that. So whatever she says is irrelevant to me. I saw some of her people have followed me because, sometimes I see them on my comments. I go right back and I unfollowed them. I don't need your support. I'm not worshiping a person. I ain't about a person. I'm about the people. And yeah, you're right. For me to be such a nobody, you got Skamala coming down here with collard greens in her bag in the airport. You got Bakari Sellers making his little snide remark, and you got Yvette talking about me for I don't know the second or third time. The thing with her, if there weren't actually people doing the work, she would have no one to talk about. Because that's the thing. People who do the work, that's just more material for her to talk about because she's not doing anything. So I don't care. The point of the matter is, until she's actually doing something for us, she shouldn't get any attention. Definitely shouldn't get any support from us.
Absolutely. Marcel, I have a question. I know definitely we're having people go down to South Carolina to volunteer, but I know there's different roles for different volunteers. Every volunteer doesn't do the same thing. So, what would you say is the most crucial role for people to do when they get down there? I know some people are poll watchers, some people are going out there to canvass, some people are providing transportation. What are some of the things that you feel like needs to be done when people get out there to volunteer?
The best thing is knocking on doors and speaking with voters. That almost automatically gains you a vote. And the more times voters hear a candidate's name or see that candidate or see someone that's representing that candidate, the more likely they are to select that candidate when they go to the ballot. That's the number one thing. Now, obviously, when a person comes down, especially in my area, which is a very, very rural area, as you saw, you don't just drive in and say, okay, let me start knocking on doors. It's just, I'm not in a densely populated urban area. I have urban areas in my district, Columbia and Charleston being the two largest ones. And, Orangeburg is pretty large too. But the remaining areas are pretty rural with their flagship towns. But knocking on doors, engaging voters, whether that be phone banking, whether that be knocking on doors, whether that be just talking to people out and about shopping, that's always the most important thing. But there are other roles, but as other roles that need to be filled present themselves as the campaign is going on.
Okay. Okay. So, since you've already announced you're going to start running now, around what time should people be getting out there? Even though we can really be getting out there now, we can be donating and spreading the message now, but how early do people normally start their campaigns? I believe it's like what, 2 years beforehand or a year or so beforehand?
Yep, in American politics, it's 2 years. I just think that was crazy because I was just 7 to 6 months. But now I see why. Because it takes time to get your name out there. So now it makes more sense why the average campaign is 2 years. Y'all, these 6, 7 months I went through were hectic. I can't imagine doing this for 2 years. But you know what? I probably did more in 7 months than what some people do in 2 years, in a sense, because I was playing catch up. But it's 2 years. So I would say when I formally announce will be when people can actually start. The best thing right now, though, is donations, so I can have that war chest. I'm not going to get Clyde Burns numbers, obviously, but I can have more money than I did the last time, which is low ball because I had none. That's the best thing. If we start campaigning right now, it's so far out that people will forget about me. So even like the early part of my campaign when I officially relaunched, that's still going to be, fundraising. That's where a lot of money has to go to. I see why now a lot of campaigns they do banquets, fundraising dinners, because that's really what you got to build up your money. So then when you actually get into the on the ground part of the campaign, if your machine is well oiled.
Absolutely, you're right about that. We gotta think about this smart. We gotta strategize. We can start donating now because we can build the money up so that way when he officially announces his run again, he can really hit the ground running. He made a lot of progress with limited resources, so we definitely got to give our brother more resources so when he runs again, he can get all the flyers and the advertisements and the radio play, all of that stuff that he wasn't able to get the first time around. Black Alpha, you can go ahead, Black Alpha.
Hey, peace and love to the family. Much respect to you, brother Marcel, brother Afro, Nikki as well. I just want to make a couple statements and then I'm gonna go ahead and land my plane. First off, I want to tell brother Marcel we respect you. Obviously, we got a lot of respect for you. What you've done, has been massive. Unlike a lot of people, I live down this way in Savannah, Georgia, so I'm like right on the other side. I know about Jasper County, Chatham County, Liberty County, and people don't understand that this is a cycle that is being broken and it's happening right now in real time. And it's very difficult because these people down here are very, very stern on voting Democrat. They've been voting Democrat blindly with their eyes closed. They're not really open to a lot of new suggestions. They're not open to a lot of new ideas and ideologies in which we're doing because we're in the evolution stage. So people have to really understand what's happening. So for what Marcel to do and what he has done in this last election in the short amount of time that he had is massive. And if you don't believe me, bring your ass down here and you will see with your own eyes. Afro, you came down here. You see it's a lot different in Chicago. A lot different.
Yeah.
I'm from Ohio, north and south, Ohio and Savannah, Georgia, and it's very different. You see it. So for what Marcel did is very, very tremendous, and we got to always tip our hat. There's a lot of terms and a lot of words that we associate with you, brother Marcel, but one word people don't say enough is trailblazer. It is trailblazer. You are really trailblazing. You're showing the community, foundational Black Americans, a new way of voting, a new way to approach voting, a new way to, have an emphasis on our policies and being Black first. I call you the on-code candidate. And honestly, anybody in the room, tell me the last on-code candidate you've seen in your life. I don't care if you're 30, 40, it don't matter how old you are. There hasn't been a lot of on-code candidates. And Brother Marcel is really, blazing that path for us. And a lot of people are seeing it. And trust me, the establishment, they're very, very afraid. I said it the other day on Tariq. I said they're waking up in fish fry cold sweats. They may not admit it. They may not accept it. They may not acknowledge it, but that's exactly what's happening. So in terms of going, in the future, there's really not much to say. The ideas are there. The thoughts are there, the passion is there, the policies are there. We've got the right approach. So it's not about Brother Marcel. It's about us as a community getting behind Brother Marcel and doing everything we did, just doing it better and doing it more with more time. Time will prevail and time will show everybody that we got more, time on our watch. We can do anything that we want to do. We've already seen what happens when, it's against all odds. And we, our whole existence is against all odds. They say the rose that grew from concrete, we the whole damn rose garden that grew from concrete. And you see it right now. So in the short amount of time that Brother Marcel had, he accomplished a lot. Now imagine if we had more. So like I say, let's just add on what we've already done. Let's sharpen our blades even more and let's stay laser focused and we can get everything done. So I salute to you, Brother Marcel. Keep being a trailblazer. And for everybody out there that wants to run in the future, we have a platform, we have a program, and we have somebody that we can look up to and somebody that we can follow. So salute to you, brother. And I give you a lot of credit for doing it at such a young age and doing it in a place, that they're really not receptive to it. So salute to the whole room. Appreciate everybody. One love. Black Alpha.
One love,
Thank you,
brother.
Black
That's Black
Alpha.
Alpha.
I had no idea you were right there in Savannah because I'm right in Ridgeland. Okay, wow, that's really, 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 really close to home. I mean, obviously 20, 25 minutes. And that's where everybody, as you know, in Jasper County, we hold Savannah for everything. I mean, Bluffton or Savannah. So those two. I want to say this. The Bible, Jesus Christ said he came not to bring peace, but a sword. I'm bringing that sword. He said he came to turn daughter against mother, son against father, right? That's what we got to do. When I went to this convention, of course, there were some old coons there who knew I was running against Clyburn. They were cheering Clyburn up. And I knew some of these people. Their life is a mess. Their children are incarcerated. Their grandchildren can't find a job. They're barely making it. They don't have a car, couldn't afford a car. Like, I know some of these people, they're messed up lives. And you should have seen one of them standing up clapping for Clyburn like an old coon. But guess what? I wasn't able to run the sword through them yet, but I'm going to. Here's how I'm going to run the sword through them. Don't give up on the old black people. That old coon, yeah, that's those people, they gone. As soon as they leave here, that's good. That's a win for us. But they have old black friends who, the moment I speak with them, they hate Clyburn and they're just waiting to hear about a better option. And a lot of them didn't know about me. So I ain't gonna talk to them. If you're old coon, you're determined to go to the grave as a coon, go there, and I guess all coons go to heaven. I don't know. But I'm gonna talk to your friend, and your friend's gonna vote for me. And then your friend's another person to vote for me. That's how you bring the sword. By educating people who were once thinking that Clyburn was the only option. Some of them think that, oh, I see the names on here, but Clyburn's going to win. I don't want to waste my vote. Have to show them that their vote is not going to go to waste. So I'm going to keep bringing that sword.
Absolutely. And that's why you got so much respect from the people, because we know it's difficult, but you're doing what needs to be done. I have another question for you. There was a lot of people who said that there was some janky stuff going on with the names where they, I guess, didn't show Marcel. They kind of skipped that part and they were just saying Gregg Dixon. Um, so what is your strategy to prevent them from doing the same thing again, as far as like mixing up your middle name and your first name?
I asked people if they saw that, and no one responded. But I've heard that when I went to vote, I saw Gregg Marcel Dixon. But if anyone saw something different, that's extremely serious, and they need to let me know, because that is serious. That's very, 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 very serious. Because my name is supposed to appear on the ballot the way I wrote it and the way it was approved to appear on the ballot, and that was as Gregg Marcel Dixon. So if anyone saw anything different, I've tweeted several times. They need to let me know, or call the South Carolina Elections Commission. But they need to let me know, because they call the South Carolina Elections Commission and I don't know it and nothing happens. I need to be sure that it happened and that they act on it if they got that report.
Okay. Okay.
Because if
Uh,
they left off Marcel, that's a huge, massive issue, like serious issue.
okay. So, um, of course, I'm going to be putting this on YouTube. Speaking of which, you guys can subscribe. My YouTube is in the jumbotron. So anybody who voted, anybody who saw that his name wasn't the way he's made it to be, if it was just Gregg Dixon, if it wasn't Gregg Marcel Dixon, get in contact with Marcel and let him know that, because that's a very bad issue, like he said. Juicy Genius, you can unmute yourself.
Peace and power, family. Can y'all guys hear me okay? Afro, can you do a mic check for me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. It was good meeting you too. Thank you so much for allowing me an opportunity to speak in your space. I'm Juicy Genius. My name is Stephanie Rose. I'm the founder of BlackNewsDaily.com. It's a pro-Black media platform created to counter the negative propaganda against Black America and to share extraordinary Black stories. I wanted to just kind of, provide, my input and feedback from my experience being in Colombia. I literally drove 3.5 hours after work to come and capture whatever footage I could that was going to, show Marcel in a positive, uplifting light, and then also get some insight about how South Carolinian voters felt about reparations, and all that information is on my profile and timeline. A few things that I think, that was a really good idea that Marcel mentioned in regards to the billboard, a shared billboard with Marcel and Clyburn. I think that would be an excellent, excellent idea, a strategy with a slogan sort of like out with the old, in with the new. Whether he retires or he decides to just retire his career or whatever, that could, associate people with not necessarily the brand and legacy of Clyburn, but understanding, hey, you have a new and better option. Also with the t-shirt concept, I have a merch line myself, Empower Black Apparel. I can tell you that selling t-shirts at $30, 25 t-shirts will generate $75,000 in revenue for your campaign. And with national support, that's where your national dollars will come in, with people just supporting and buying that merch, and adding that revenue to your campaign will help cover the cost of hosting some of those events. Another thing that I think will be a really, really wonderful idea as far as from the media perspective is to continue doing those interviewing. You were on so many platforms. Your PR campaign was phenomenal, phenomenal PR national campaign. I mean, from the grassroots, from podcasts, national, news, whatever you could do, and have your voice spoke, your voice heard. People gravitated just by your energy. We could feel that James Baldwin. I feel like you're a modern day James Baldwin. When I heard you speak, that's the energy that ignited in me to go and drive to South Carolina for a candidate that I couldn't even vote for, and I was really, really passionate to hear you speak, and really felt good to be a part of what you put in, all that work you put in. And if you're in Atlanta or surrounding areas, I want to talk about this, specifically in a regional campaign. You have your local campaign, a statewide campaign, your regional campaign, and your national campaign. I did work alongside a campaign manager for someone running for mayor in my city in Smyrna, Georgia. So that's kind of how, we looked at it from that perspective. You have to create a multi-level campaign, based off of the demographic. Also, real quick, creating a database. That's one thing that I also did. An intake. It's kind of like an intake form to create and establish a database. Voters for reparations, and that's also a part of a national campaign where you have voters for reparations for Black Americans, whether you are Hispanic, white, Republican, Democrat. Which I feel like reparations. I believe that reparations is a bipartisan thing because it's a human rights violations against Black Americans to not pay the debt for unpaid wages for hundreds of years for millions of people. That is a human rights violation, the worst atrocity to mankind ever. And anyone, when it's said in that light, should be able to see, like, okay, I wouldn't want that to happen. I wouldn't want to be a part of that legacy. They are owed this, they are due this. Let's right this wrong. So any voter that's for reparations for Black Americans can be included in that database, whether they're local or national. And anybody that's running as a reparationist in any political arena, Senate, Congress, commissioner, whatever the case is, whether you're Republican or Democrat, we got to get more reparationists into politics and into the White House and into running these government official, the House of Representatives, all these different roles. We need more reparationists in that. But then also starting your own podcast. We would love to hear you on a regular basis outside of Twitter, just talking about things that you're passionate about: education, reparations, pro-life, all those things that you're passionate about as an individual and a human being. Like, people would absolutely love to hear that. From car shows, people will pull up for car shows, food. It's so many different things. And I feel like that I have a moral obligation to my people to support and help in any way. So if I got to garner an Atlanta committee for reparations, host a reparations run, a reparations summit, conference, whatever the fuck I got to do, it's just got to make it happen. I'm done. Like, I'm really not big on talking on these platforms, because I'm just going to land my plane here. I want to be in action with other people who are actionary as well. Thank you so much for allowing me time to speak in your space.
Thank you for that, Juicy Genius. Thank you for that. I would definitely want to say that's a good idea as far as podcast. So people can hear you on a regular basis. People can get to know you, almost personally. Podcasts can give a lot of people listen to podcasts nowadays. So, and that's something very cheap. You don't have to, put any money. I mean, maybe get a nice microphone, and that's really it. You can start making a podcast anywhere if you need that. So that's a good idea too.
It
I'm
literally
glad she
takes
brought that up.
10 minutes, 20 minutes to start a podcast. I'll send you the link, what you got to do in the back channel, and just show you. Just launch the podcast and then set up your mic. You can go to Amazon and start speaking the way that you do. And we're going to tune in, we're going to subscribe, we're going to do that. As far as the Yvette girl, I don't know anything about her or anything or what, but obviously she's been talking amongst herself in her little private world or whatever. And they're lingering and coming over and spilling over to our public platforms to throw shade. I don't do well with shade because I'll pull up and throw hands. And so I'm trying to get better with like being more publicly professional in that retrospect because someone that's trying to do something for my people and you're going against them, I'm going to look at you as an op from all sides, and I don't care who you are. You know, that's real from any level. I don't care. So, but yeah.
Yeah. And to touch on what you said too, just because it might have started with Marcel being like, as Black Alpha would call it, the on code candidate, does not mean it ends with Marcel. Marcel has opened the door and he set the template for other people to run for a reparations, run as a reparations candidate. Now it's seen to other people that, okay, if you run for reparations, that's something that the community will support. That's something that people will get behind. You know, you can actually put forth the effort from the grassroots. You don't have to come from a wealthy family. You don't have to be famous beforehand. You can come from, just an average Joe. And I'm not saying that to say Marcel's the average Joe. Clearly, he's a damn political icon to us now. But I'm saying you can come from anywhere and you can start it. Marcel has shown that there is um there is room for this. Marcel has set the stepping stones for other people in other different cities. So it doesn't have to just be South Carolina. Although since Marcel did start it, it's our responsibility as a family to make sure he sees his way in office. But it can be Arizona, it could be Chicago, it could be New York, it could be Los Angeles, it could be nationwide. We need to be doing this nationwide. I mean, I've never thought about being a politician, and I don't even think I would qualify to run for Congress right now. But I mean, he should have motivated certain other people to run for office. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Congress per se, but any office, just a local mayor or local city council or anything like that. Everybody should be trying to do the most that they can do. And Marcel has shown that taking the initiative to do something and being honest with it will get you someplace far. Because he didn't come out and then beg people to donate in the beginning. He didn't come out and he was like, hey guys, please vote for me. He came out and he started doing the work. And then that's when we saw him. And then that's when we got behind him. We got behind him because he was doing the work, not because he was asking for help. He needed our help and he still needs our help. And it's our responsibility to help him. But he started doing the work. So that doesn't just apply to South Carolina. That can apply to anywhere in America. And with that being said, let's get to Black Pressure Chamber. Black Pressure Chamber. You can unmute yourself.
I just want to say what's going on, all the Black family in the room. Peace to the host. I want to tell Marcel, man, I was heartbroken when I heard the news, man. I'm down here in Houston, Texas, and I think maybe over a week and a half period, to friends, family, coworkers, I sent out probably 150 mass text messages, different clips, different platforms you're on, different videos, and every last person that saw those videos I sent you, they were like, man, who is this guy, man? What does this guy do? Where's this guy at? So I told them your story, and every last person that got that text that said, look, man, if I was in South Carolina, I would be in line 5 hours early to vote for this dude. So my personal opinion, yeah, you did lose. But like I say, in my personal opinion, I think it was just a time factor. You weren't out there long enough for people to hear about you. But I think if you had the same time all those other guys had, I think you would have won. You would have won going away, man. So like I said, I'll be donating. Like the host said, we don't have to stop here. We could, we could keep pushing you forward. But I do have one bone to pick with you. You and I had gotten to it maybe about a week and a half ago over Twitter, and you said that South Carolina has better barbecue than Texas. Man, you don't ever say that again, Marcel. Please don't, man. Please, Marcel, don't ever put your lips together and say anything like that as long as you live. And I'm going to land my plane right there.
Twitter's trying to save you because my microphone won't come up. But look, yo, I'm standing my ground on that. Anybody who's had Carolina Gold can attest to that. Juicy, I don't know any other people in the Carolinas here. Carolina Gold, y'all. I've never had Texas barbecue, so maybe I need to reserve my opinion. We need to have a barbecue cook-off. But y'all, Carolina Gold, it's like honey mustard, but spicier and sweeter and stickier. It's look, I'm standing my ground, y'all. South Carolina got it when it comes to the barbecue wars, but I haven't had Texas barbecue, so I'm gonna have to. I guess I'm gonna reserve my judgment for that one. But to be honest, the Carolinas, we knocked North Carolina out the water.
Hey, if it's a competition, I want to be the judge. You
Listen,
know,
just make it a fundraiser. Make it a fundraiser. Memphis, Houston, South
Yeah,
Carolina,
that is actually a
stand
good idea.
up. Quit playing with it. Let's see. Let's put the barbecue together. See who winning. Offer reparations.
I still want to be the judge, though. I'm just saying that. But that is a good idea. Anything and everything. That would attract a lot of people. If we did like a barbecue cook-off with down south, who has the best barbecue cook-off. That would attract a ton of people, not just in South Carolina, but that would attract other people in other places. And it's important for us not to just stay in South Carolina, but to take the message nationwide. Because when people in Texas, when they see you in South Carolina, they're going to be looking like, damn, I wish I had somebody like that in Texas. When people in Virginia, when they see you in South Carolina, they be like, damn, I wish I had somebody like that in Virginia. Then they're going to be thinking like, hey, well, we need somebody like we need a Virginia version of Marcel. We need a Texas version of Marcel. We need a Arizona or Georgia version of Marcel. So it I mean, there's a lot that can come with that. That's a very constructive thing to do.
And hello, how's everybody doing tonight? Brother Marcel, I think you did a wonderful thing with your campaign. You held it with integrity, and if people in South Carolina did not understand you, hopefully they understand you now. And you fought to get reparations for our people. And I hope that you can be a torch light for other black political candidates who are trying to run in various cities, like we said in the platform. We have here in DC Trayon White, who's running for mayor of DC, and people are supposed to be voting for him June the 21st. And we need to get Muriel Bowser out of there because the gentrification of Washington D.C. is insane. I believe now is 50% white in Washington D.C. when D.C. was held Chocolate City, when Marion Barry was mayor. So if we can, I'm promoting Trayon White. He is FBA as well, but he was also Ward 8 councilman in Southeast DC. Thank you.
Is he on Twitter?
Yes, he's on Twitter.
Okay, well, I'd like to talk to him, you know.
Okay, for
So
sure.
definitely, yeah. If we can talk to him, I'm sure, because the more reparations candidates, the better.
Right, that I'm sure.
So if you
Yeah.
can, give him, send him our way, and then we can talk to him, and we can give him the support.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Tammy, you can go ahead.
Good evening, guys. Peace, love, and reparations be one. I just would like to say, Marcel, you have inspired my whole household. My kids know about you. I told all my family about you. We actually learned about you a little late. So we didn't get to really, help you out like that. But I would like to offer my services to you. I'm an event coordinator. So when you start doing your events to raise money and stuff, more I would more than love to come down there from New York and come help you out with that, help you set up, do anything I can. Um, I would just like to say that I agree with definitely 2 points. I think Afro, you're the one that said that we need to start getting these thugs involved. And the reason why I'm saying that is because my husband is what Jason Black would call a Pookie and Ray Ray, but he is very woke. He is very B1, and it's a lot of people in my community like that. New York was built on 5 percenters back in the days, and they're on the B1 trip. It's a lot of us. Number two, I feel like social media should be used to promote. So if we are retweeting, we're retweeting to people as far as putting you on their platform and getting the word out there. That's why I tweeted to 85 South yesterday, and they like the post. Now, if they don't put you on there, I will be the first one in their inbox on their case. Like, why hasn't Marcel been there? But I think, like in the other room, I guess the girl's name was Rozzy, when she was saying you need like a social media platform. You definitely do, and I definitely agree with the podcast thing. And I'm gonna just land my plane on that. And thank you for inspiring me, and thank you for showing my children what a true FBA man looks like and what it truly means to stand up for what you believe in.
I'm gonna say it like this, and I've said this earlier in the space too. We shouldn't be overlooking anybody. When I said about the hood dudes, the street dudes, um, we should be talking to them too. We can't just overlook them, and too often they're overlooked. Those are the people who are, the term keeps slipping my mind. Um, those are the people who don't vote. That's why there was low turnout. Like I said in the beginning of the space, there was low turnout in general. Jim Clyburn really didn't get those many votes. If you count up all the people, he really didn't get that much support. He just got the people who are going to support him with their dying breath anyway. A lot of people, and I'm talking about the people I have spoken to myself, a lot of people hate Jim Clyburn's guts, but they just didn't vote because they didn't know of a better option. So we shouldn't be just appealing to the boomer generation or the upper class, so to speak. And this isn't to throw shade at anybody, but we should go to the hood and we should be telling them like, hey, look at the condition you're living in. This is because of Jim Clyburn, and I said that to him. I'm like,
And let
bro,
me tell
and
you,
I'm not trying to demean him, but yeah,
uh,
that's Jim Clyburn's fault.
right. And let me tell y'all, I tried to do that, but it takes a massive ground team to do that. Y'all, the biggest challenge we have is not necessarily getting our people to hate Clyburn. It's easy to let people know that Clyburn sucked. The old coons that showed up and voted for him, some of them probably had a stroke and died on their way home. So, we don't got to worry about them. They're going to be gone about 2 years from now. But the problem is, though, people hate him already, but they don't love anyone else enough to show up. Or the reality is this: we as black people, when have we seen in recent decades a significant positive change in our lives politically? We haven't. So when you go to people and try to explain to them the importance of voting, they hear that speech all the time. And we just sound like another person saying to them, show up to vote. And they just feel like my great grandmother used to go and vote religiously. My grandmother voted religiously. My mother voted religiously. And nothing has changed. Things have only gotten worse, and you ain't going to be no different. That is the attitude we're facing. Most of them won't say that, but that's how a lot of people feel. The biggest challenge here is convincing people that voting for me is going to make a difference in their lives. And that is incredibly difficult to do. Our generation, the good news with our generation is we're no longer the vote blue no matter who type. That's good. The bad news is we have to be convinced voting for you is going to make a difference. And it's hard to convince them of that when we have never experienced that. We've never experienced a candidate running on a black agenda, and we've never experienced a politician who comes in office and does something to significantly make our lives better. Has not happened in our modern times. And that's the challenge we face. And Tammy, I'm going to take you up on that offer. I mean it. So please DM me, especially when I do this barbecue cook-off that we all know South Carolina's going to win.
I DM'd you in the middle of the program, so you should have my DM is telling you that I'm willing to help, so you can contact me back through the DM with no problem.
Well, thank you, Tammy. Thank you. We appreciate that, sister. Jason, you can go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick, I like the point Marcel just made, and that kind of ties into my point, even though it's slightly from a different angle about the importance of. And I know Marcel, like he said, he's making the case, and I believe him, and I've seen him do it. I've seen videos of his speeches, but just the importance of making that case of how the policies that he's promoting are going to actually make a real difference. And again, like he said, it's not just on him; that's on all of us. The ground game, all of us being, making sure we have our talking points together. Just letting people know that hey, this is not just another get out the vote, just show up at the polls. Typical standard issue BS that most politicians give people that they visit with or whatever you may call it. And yeah, just the importance of emphasizing why these policies that he's promoting are going to be a difference and why they're going to actually make an impact and it's worth going out to vote for other than getting a I voted sticker that you're really voting for a tangible and realistic change in your life. But that's all I had to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. These people, they don't feel motivated. They don't feel like voting is going to help them. The only people who get up and do it, they just do it just cuz, really. They're just voting for Jim Clyburn not because they love him to death, just cuz. I'm like, they've been doing it for the last few decades. They why stop now? That's kind of their mentality, which is sad, but that's their mentality. We need to motivate people. We need to actually show that Marcel's policies will actually change because they listen to people coming in. No, I'm going to change things. I'm going to change things. I'm going to change things. They hear that all the time, and nobody actually has any policies that's really going to change except for Marcel. So we got
May
to
I
push
say
his message
something
out.
too? We also, the media is the enemy of the American people. Donald Trump was absolutely right. And if it ain't the American people, they're definitely the enemy of the black American people. When I say the media, I'm talking about the mainstream media, not the new black media. That's the real media. Charlemagne the fraud knew about me, had months to contact me, could have shouted me out, chose not to. But went on Bill Maher's show, an anti-black white guy's show, to talk about reparations when he has someone of his lineage. I'm not just talking about Black American freeman lineage, but Gullah Geechee, Sea Island Creole lineage, running for reparations in his backyard, talking about issues that impact his community and my community, because we're in the same region, especially issues like heirs property. He did not do it. 85 South Shack, whatever they're called, they reached out to me, wanted me on, but it was too late and the studio was fully booked, or at least that's what I was told. These media outlets have the air of a lot of those young guys in particular that I tried to reach out to, but one person by myself and not a big ground team had a hard time reaching. We got to come after this media too. Now we can be small but mighty. But I've noticed though some of us we like to tweet. We like to mad tweet. Mad tweeting ain't hurting no one. Pick up the phone, call Charlemagne's show, and let him have it. Okay? We need to start letting people know how angry we are. Stop just mad tweeting and think you're doing something.
Exactly. We got to get off. Well, not get off Twitter. We got to go beyond Twitter.
And
Um.
oh, I was about to
Who,
say, real quick. It's funny that Marcel mentioned Charlemagne because it's not his first rodeo with not putting real people on his program. RZA has tried to reach out to Charlemagne various times to try to talk about the experimental vaccines, and Charlemagne has not allowed him to even come on program. And it goes with Roland and several others who are Democratic flunkies. But continue.
yeah. The real ones know who. Real recognize real, and we
Speaking
can
of
all
Roland,
contest that Charlemagne ain't.
speaking of that guy Roland Martin, he spent most of his time ignoring me, right? I never reach out to him. He's one of the people I never even reach out to. But remember that little shady treat Bakari fellas tried to make about me? Who liked it but him and that little ugly linen suit? Leaned up against that poor wall, but him, Roland Martin. All this time ignore me, but the first time a car seller throws shade at me, he likes it. So he's a sellout and a coon too.
Absolutely, absolutely correct. Sister Kelly, you can go ahead.
Okay, thanks. And Marcel, I haven't spoken to you in a while. It's so good to talk to you. But and also peace to the room as well. And I'm sorry that I'm coming in late, but I have a question as well. First, I want to say I don't think your strategy game. I thought your strategy game was excellent. Obviously, there's always room for improvement for all of us, but I think it was excellent. I think time wasn't on our side, but we still have from now until 2024 to get it together and perfect it and make it even better than what it was. Because honestly, between the CNN and the MSNBC and all these other mainstream media, I'm not sure what the statistics are now, but at one point, only 30% of the population nationwide even watches them. Everybody's really watching, getting their news from social media. So I think you were in the right place. I just wanted to get have a question about this, and anybody else can answer too. And I see you down there too, Nas. What role, or do you think, is there a strategy to combat the constituents or possible constituents to win over in these black churches? Because I kind of suspect, I haven't heard anything about this, but I kind of feel, let me take my hand down. I'm sorry, you guys. I kind of feel like they were the ones that, because Pastor Porkchop told them to do it, that they went ahead and voted the way that they did. And I'll take a breath.
Who's Pastor Porkchop?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's y'all, that's just me. I'm not condemning black churches, not all of them, but I'm condemning a lot of them. And I say this, I can speak from experience because I too have a relative, I'm not going to say their name, that is a prominent politician that literally, and I am totally on the opposite end of how they operate, to the point that even when we went to one of the churches in my family member's district, the pastor's response of not voting for the same person that was running similar and had some concrete issues like what Marcel had, his excuse was that my relative saved his life when he was 6. That was his excuse for not going with what was going to help the people in that area. So that's why, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but I am saying that because of the ties and because of how the church is linked in with these politicians, that their congregations listen to these ministers. I call the ministers pastor pork chops. That's where I got that from. So I think Marcel fell off, but I don't know if he answered this question before or if it was even addressed, but I'm just curious if we start getting into these churches and start working on these congregations, and if that's even an issue, or was that an obstacle? And I'll take a breath.
Well, I was to okay. I'm gonna say this. Marcel did state earlier that there was supposed to be a storm where he was, so his reception might go in and out. So that's what I assume happened. I assume he didn't just leave. I assume it probably has something to do with his connection, and hopefully Marcel will be back. But he did say that Marcel did say that he felt like he needed to, I guess, broaden his campaign and who he campaigned to. So we didn't talk on the churches, and I'm glad you brought that up because nobody had brought that up prior to you. So I'm glad you brought it up, but I do think that that is something that he would be willing to consider if he hasn't considered already, because he has also stated that some of the people that he felt wouldn't vote for him, just he felt because of their policies, he didn't even reach out, he didn't even attempt. But now he's going to try to reach out to everybody, and who votes votes and who doesn't. So oh, yep, he's back. All right. Well, now I guess he can answer it if he heard your question. Hold on, he's back. Let's let him come up here. Marcel, did you hear our sister Kelly's question?
Yeah, I did, and then Twitter started glitching, but she's absolutely right. A lot of these sorry, cowardly civil rights era coons who were coons when doing the civil rights movement, and they're coons now. It's one of the reasons why they were not one of the ones that were killed. A lot of them are now pastors in churches, and they pretty much tell their people to vote for Clyburn. And one of the problems with the so-called Bible Belt people here is we do whatever we're told, so docile and so obedient. Yet the Bible makes it very clear in Acts 17:11, you are to study things for yourself to see if it's true. You're not supposed to just take the word of some man. You're supposed to study things for yourselves. However, that being said, I did make some outreach to churches, and there is this National Coalition of Churches for Reparations, that organization that tried to help me, and two of them, Mr. Hicks and Miss Kimberly, tried to help me, but someone made an executive decision to not help me. I don't know who it was. I have an idea I know who it was, but I sent the message let them know that their trailer is trash, and they're going to burn in hell if they believe in that concept of it. I just wanted to make that clear to them. I asked them to give that message to them. You had an opportunity to help your people get from underneath this awful, despicable, anti-black, quote-unquote, leader, and you chose not to do it. Probably because this person is an Yvette loyalist. I'm not sure. But I don't have the name of the person who made the executive decision not to do so. But the moment I get it, I will definitely reveal it. So they might not want me to get it. But what I did try to do, but I did this too late, I had people who donated to me in South Carolina invite me to their churches, not to go there and do that whole phony religious service thing, because I think that's an insult. And I do believe in a separation of church and state, but just be able to speak with people there about my platform. But by the time that happened, I wasn't able to make it because, they go to church first or third Sunday or whatever, and I only had like a few weeks left. And then the few times I had other events going on. So that's something I'm going to definitely do more of. Goals, because that is what I miss. I do want to be clear though, y'all. The black church, it's this old stereotype that in the South, go to a black church, you must go there to get the big votes. That's a stereotype. Most people are not voting, and most people are not in the churches. There are churches closing left and right around here. And this is in the Bible Belt in South Carolina that has Charleston, which is called the Holy City because it has so many churches. And churches are closing left and right. The truth of the matter is the majority of people we need to reach and activate are not in the church. But I need to reach people in the church too. And I'm going to do that by having people who donate to me invite me to their churches. The thing is, y'all, so many people don't go to church or have stopped going. It's almost hard to get an invitation. So there's that issue too. But definitely, Kelly, that's one thing I'm looking into.
Okay, and I wanted to say really quick, you guys, I'll be quick. Marcel, it's not too late. I think you got an incredible head start for 2024. I just wanted to say that. Peace, brother.
Me too. Thank you. Exactly. And that's the thing. Me losing was actually the best thing because it showed us that this is not going to happen by chance. We're not going to go to sleep knowing Marcel ran for Congress and wake up, oh, Marcel won. Is actually showing us we really have to put sweat, blood, money, tears, and time into this thing. So I'm almost glad I was successful in this election. It's also gotten us riled up. Because you see, Clyburn ain't changing. He tried to do something on racial equity. Y'all know the only reason he's doing that much is because of me. I heard a rumor that Joe Crow, Slow Biden, as I call him, Slow Biden, I heard that he's going to sign an executive order on reparations on Juneteenth. If that happens, y'all know that's because of us. And it's definitely because I put pressure on Clyburn to make it happen. It won't be because they wanted to do it. But we all know that reparations executive order is going to be a study. We are beyond a study. He ain't spent no studying for that $1 billion he sent to Ukraine yesterday. And that's what now? $100 billion? So I'm almost glad I wasn't Victorian because we were taking this thing for granted. Now we're seeing, oh, we got to really get activated for this to happen.
You're absolutely correct. Before we get to Rich, I'm gonna say we have some people requesting to speak. We have some people in the queue, and it seems as if our room is filled.
I'll step down. I'll step down.
Oh, okay.
I'll step down too.
All right. I appreciate everybody for coming in here and speaking. We had some really great speakers who asked some really good questions. We had some people asking great questions prior to Marcel coming in. We had some people asking great questions to me in the DMs to ask Marcel. I appreciate all of the questions. This is us um, sitting at the table and putting our heads together and strategizing about how we're going to move forward. Um, Now, brother Rich, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I heard you guys said you guys wanted to have a barbecue contest, South Carolina versus Texas. Well, if you guys are gonna do that, y'all need to have Marcel, not Marcel, I said Marcel. Y'all need to have Roland Martin and Bakari Sellers have a butter biscuit eating contest. I'll bring the honey, and I'll put the honey right on the butter biscuits, and they could fight it out. No water. They're not gonna. They have no drinks. They're gonna have to just eat the butter biscuits just like that. No water, no drinks, no nothing. Straight butter biscuits and honey. And whoever fucking dies, then so be it. Let's have a butter biscuit eating contest. I'll land right there.
Now that is unfair, the Bakari. You gotta have a weight class or something like that. Now Bakari might, be taller and faster, but you put biscuits there and Rolling Martin knows that's the prize. Bakari don't stand no chance. I mean, Bakari may have his moments, but he don't want to go to somebody. He gonna let him get a crumb of those biscuits. We gotta make that a little fair. Let's do somebody like, I don't know, Rolling Martin, and I don't know. Y'all think of a cool God, so many of them. Rolling Martin and someone in his weight class. God, that's a lot.
I don't
Who,
know. Roland Martin seems like he's walking away with the belt. My money was
he,
on him.
weight class, all of his own. I don't know who you put in that weight class, but that's a little unfair to Bakari, though. I'm a Bakari's from South Carolina, so I'm gonna look out, and he's from Denmark, South Carolina, a poor little town, like barely an hour from me, in the quarter of shame, in my region.
No,
I'm a fan of Bakari.
no, no.
That's
Ma-
Roland Martin's like the boss you face at the end of the game.
Now,
So
Marcel, I got one. I got one. Jason Johnson will be perfect.
oh yeah, Lisa Johnson.
Marcel, I have a question for you. This is Chance speaking. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Change. Go ahead.
All right. I would like to know. I have two questions. I would like to know where can we go to read your policies? What you got planned? Like if you have a website or whatever, and also if you are a gay man, I would just like to say thank you for putting the black agenda first and not his sexuality. That means a lot. Like that shows you got your head screwed on tight and you're focused on what's really important.
Well, thank you, Chance. MarcelForCongress.com is my website. I think it's, oh no, oh yeah, it's in my Twitter page, MarcelForCongress.com. And as far as the second part goes, I don't know anyone, to me, it's almost a mental illness to make your sexual orientation your identity. Okay? It's to me, whoever you sleep with, making that your personality is just really weird. And I know you got people
I
TS Giselle or Trash Sack, as I call her, Trash Sack Giselle. I know Trash Sack Giselle's out there mad because I'm putting Black American needs first. And I heard that her and I don't know, she calls them the Organization of Sissies, Black Sissies. First of all, why would you call yourself that? I heard they all mad and they just gonna stay mad because our issues we face is not because of our sexual orientation. If that was the case, all these advancements that LGBTQ people have seen would be benefiting Black LGBTQ people, and they have not. So, yeah. I mean,
exactly.
Exactly. You got to be black first. All that, what you do behind closed doors, what your preference is, what you like, what you don't like, what you believe, what you don't believe, that is behind your race. You need to think of yourself as race first because that's how they're attacking us. Before we get to
say this real quick,
set,
y'all. Be real quick, and I want to go on record by saying this. Coonery is a problem. Like I was saying, Black Americans, we never had a civil war, and that's a good thing, I guess. But we never had a chance to purge the coons from among us, to slay them and kill them like we should have. Let me be very clear about something. You ain't met a coon until you met a Black LGBTQ coon. When I tell you the cooning is on a whole other level, take it from me. You haven't met a coon until you met a Black, lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, transgender. Now they add on IA. I don't even know what the hell that stands for because they asked me the alphabet so I can't keep up with it. You haven't met a coon until you met a Black LGBTQ coon. Trust me on that one.
Yeah, I second that. Before we get to Sajid, or before we get to Mr. Khan, I'm getting better with pronouncing names, y'all. Y'all already know. Somebody DM me and gave me a request for the butter biscuit eating competition, and they said that they would like to see Jason Whitlock in a butter biscuit eating competition. So I think somebody should be reaching out to Jason Whitlock and maybe asking him if he wanted to join to participate. My money's still on Roland Martin.
But Afro, you know what I was thinking? Maybe TS just a big brolic football looking ass. Maybe her ass could. I mean his ass, and Roland Martin could go toe to toe. Because if you pay attention to TS Giselle's shoulder, he's shaped like a football player. So maybe
Well, I mean, they want women now to compete against men and men to compete against women in sports. So, well, there you go. Two birds, one stone. That's inclusivity. I think that's what they call it.
Hey, that's a hell of a main event. That's a hell of a main event, isn't it?
no water, honey and butter biscuits. No water, no drink. You don't get nothing. If you win, you get something to drink.
Now,
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 wait. So Kamala Harris can make them some collard greens now. Come on now. Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris makes you a special plate of those South Carolina collard greens that she carried on with her at the airport, but no one has a photo of, strangely enough.
now, Marcel. I was gonna ask, how was your appeal amongst the Trump voter, the Alex Jones crowd outside of North Charleston? Because I realized, you're not as strict when it came to the abortion and the Second Amendment laws, which I feel like they would probably align with you more so than Clyburn.
Oh, I hate abortion. Outside of medical emergencies, this shouldn't happen. Not to black kids, at least. It
Oh
was
yeah,
all
I was saying, how was your appeal with the Trump and
about.
Alex Jones supporter
Yeah,
outside of
I,
North Charleston?
I just want to say real quick. You say I'm not as strict. Oh no, I am like against abortion for the most part. At least for Black Americans, it was all a plan to depopulate us and the 2A and illegal immigration. I was saying I didn't do enough courting to them, and I need to. But the strange thing is, when I ran, y'all, I was expecting to get like a lot of death threats and like racist messages. And that didn't happen from them. I was expecting that group to do that. That didn't happen too much. I mean, I did get a few get a job type messages, of course, a few chimpanzee photos, ignorant stuff like that. I mean, I got someone, I got people talking, you won't get a cent from me. I got like those type of messages, but I really didn't get. I know they know about me. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm on their little, what's the name of that like Twitter they have? That's like a Twitter for like Trump.
It's probably 4chan or
Well, not
BitChute.
Reddit or something.
4chan, but there's a Twitter thing they have that like they what's it called? Radar? Something. There's like a little Twitter that a lot of them go on. I'm 100% sure they know about me. Strangely enough, I don't get any reaction from them. I actually plan to start courting them more because some of them, like an Ann Coulter type, some of them are smart enough to see that one, it actually makes a lot more economic sense and a lot more sense from just a national security standpoint to give the money to Black Americans that we're owed instead of putting all this money in immigrants and Ukrainians and Afghanis. They also realize that I'm in an area that's 73% Democrat, so Republicans not going to win. Some of them are smart enough to say, you know what? I'd rather vote for a Democrat who hates abortion, hates illegal immigration. I'm for lowering levels of legal immigration and is 2A. I didn't court them enough to know what their response would be. I just figured once they heard reparations, door will be closed and that'll be it. So I was like, if they see me and they see I'm against abortion, illegal immigration, 428, they will vote for me. If not, oh well. That was a mistake and I need to court them more. So I'll be able to answer that question in better detail
And,
soon.
and you hit it right on the head. Actually, you said Ann Coulter's name. It's funny that you mentioned her because she was on Meet the Press talking with Chuck Todd, saying that basically we giving money to Ukraine, billions of dollars, but we don't care about black people. I was shocked. Not to say she meant it. However, she may be using us, but I just, maybe we can appeal to that crowd so we can get
That's right.
the low country on your side to vote with you.
Right. Because
Because
we got a lot of those types in the low country, and that's the thing. It ain't about whether they like me. It ain't even about if they hate me. There's not permanent enemies, permanent friends. It's permanent interest and shared interest. And if my interest overlaps with their interest, so be it. There was a guy, I think he was joking, but he was like, I don't like you colored folks. I think he was joking, but you just never know. And I wasn't joking when I responded to him. I was like, well, then you need to vote. You need to be the first one line voted for me so I get reparations. We can get away from you. So that's the energy I'm on. Like, even if you don't like black people, that's even more of a reason you should want to get reparations so we can have our own communities and be away from you. So I do plan to court them more. And there are some, again, Ann Coulter, I'm pretty sure she has lots of views about us that I don't agree with. But she's been saying that for a while. And, might even consider reaching out to her because the mistake I made, y'all, I did reach out to Fox News a few times. Breitbart reached out to me. Actually, Nas set that up, and a reporter for Breitbart reached out to me, and Breitbart interviewed me. But by the time they did it, y'all, like I said, y'all, if my campaign had ran the way it ran for the last 2 months, man, I'll probably be in Congress right now. Because Breitbart reached out to me, and once, here's how it works, y'all, real quick. Once one of them reach out to you, the other ones notice. So, like, Breitbart reached out to me, so Fox News notices it now. Prager University notices it now. Like they look. I had a lot of them reach out to me. What's the lady's name? Laverna Spicer. She's a Republican running for Congress in Florida. She has like 120,000 something followers. She wrote me, "You a Democrat or Republican?" I'm like, "I'm running as a Democrat." And I make no apologies for that, but I'm against illegal immigration, abortion, and I'm 2A. And she didn't respond. A few of them wrote me. The point is, I don't know why they wrote me. The point is, don't think they aren't watching me. Don't think like Mitch McConnell and up there don't know about me. Don't think that they aren't smart enough to realize that if I get to whatever point that they want to, which they want me to get, they aren't smart enough to at least weaponize me to say, you know what? I don't care about reparations one way or the other, but he's going to help us stop illegal immigration and abortion. Get that man in office. And guess what? I'll take their money and I'll take their support if that's what it means, because that will help me get reparations. But y'all, after reparations, we got to be against illegal immigration. We got to be for lowering legal immigration. And we definitely have to be against abortion. So I'm going to court that white conservative support too.
Absolutely. I want to get to Wayne. Wayne, you had your hand up. If you guys want to speak, you guys got to let's get your hands up so we can keep an order.
For sure. Peace and blessings, fam. Yeah, Marcel, we did the damn thing. It's all about winning. And I wanted to share this, just kind of piggyback off what you said a moment ago. As you know, I work with your campaign manager, put up numerous billboards, digital billboards throughout South Carolina, pushing the brother. And one unique thing that I discovered, two of the property owners said, nope, we will not allow this billboard on my property. Like, so literally they're individuals, as we know, out in Kekalak that have their notions, and it's always going to be an uphill fight, but you always can take those small those rejections as a motivation, which I know you do. So I want to definitely say that. And then also in terms of a moving forward campaign, one thing I always was because of minorities within the technology, black people within the technology sector were not as thriving. And as an educator, I'm sure you've had experiences and know where I'm coming from. Do you think collaborating with more of us and, empowering more of us within our community, from a technology standpoint to push the campaign. Because there were some things, we didn't push search engine optimization. We weren't really focusing on certain aspects that take time to ramp up. Do you feel that, what I'm saying, embracing those that are within the technology sector would give us leverage, if that makes sense at all?
It does. I tried to get verified on Facebook. I got their little letter with the code and stuff. I put the code in. Haven't heard from them since. Okay, that was months ago. Instagram, which is with Facebook, same thing. I haven't tried on TikTok. On YouTube, I tried, same thing. I was trying to do that because once you get verified, you can share political advertisements, things like that. And I read an article saying that this is common with a lot of grassroots of candidates, how they don't get verified, and that cuts them off from a large source of advertisements. There's a lady who reached out to me, Raxi, and I think her name here on Twitter. I'm gonna reach out to her. She was talking about social media advertising optimization. I need that. I should have optimized myself from the search engine. But see, y'all, when I started, I had to hit the ground running because I started 7 months left. That's almost like starting the week before, almost the same. And I didn't have time to look into all that stuff. Now that I do, y'all, my campaign didn't end. My campaign's still going. Okay? My campaign gonna keep going until we get reparations. Now, whatever y'all can tell me about making sure I show up in search engines or whatever I need to do, I need to be told that now. And to those people who wouldn't let my billboard go up on their property, they're gonna get what's coming to them. And they can go to hell.
Love it, brother. And I'm always definitely, because I got the blue on Instagram, Facebook, all that. And even with some of those processes, it's not, they have it's a process, but it's just like life. Like, it's who you know what I'm saying? So, like, shooting an email to the right person and waking up the next morning with your thing popping, like, is a realistic, you know what I'm saying? That's like
I need that because, yeah, they give a hard time. Facebook has been absolutely awful.
Yeah, there's individuals that don't go through the traditional process with that. Like, I used to work at Dell Computer Corporation, publicly traded entity, and a lot of my people at Dell, they went to social media networks. I stay in touch with people, so sometimes it's good to have someone that's within the sector you walk in to shoot a. So, like, I can either link up with you on that offline campaign manager, how we did like last time. I'm willing to definitely at least explore and try to use one of my resources to help you out with some of that kind of stuff for sure.
Thank you, Wayne. My campaign manager be the best person because he's very organized, and sometimes I'm not. Like, I hope people don't get mad if they write me and I don't write back. I'll look at a message and say, okay, I'm gonna go back and respond to it later, and then forget because so much be getting thrown at me. And even though my campaign is quote unquote over, officially right now, hell, I'm still getting a lot of emails and people wanting me to be interviewed, and that's actually a good thing. That shows that the interest has not died. When the interest outlives the campaign, that's always a good thing. So, Wayne, yes, please contact my Oz. He'll be perfect because right now, y'all, I need to build up infrastructure. When I started, the first time I had no infrastructure, no money, no name recognition, no support, nothing. Now we have it. So now, hey, but check this out too, y'all. Beware. Clyburn also knows I have it now. So if he decides to run again, if he doesn't die or whatever, if he decides to run again, Clyburn is not going to underestimate me. He's now going to see, okay, hey, we gotta really be on top of our game with this guy. So I'm also not going to have the leisure I had when I ran the first time. Clyburn never thought some guy who confronted him and put him on the spot with his piss poor record in Richland was going to ever be a serious competition for him. He never thought he would have to get the vice president to come down to help him get reelected. Now, Clyburn, Bakari Sellers, because they all work together, they now see this guy can be a threat. You don't get the vice president to come down for a person you don't think could be a threat. And I don't think Clyburn thought I was going to really win this. What I think Clyburn knows that I may not always appreciate, and I think Bakari knows this too. That's why I know some of you were talking about he wanted to take me out on a date, which I think hilarious. But the reason Bakari was like, oh, let's have lunch together so I can tell you how to really make change in the system. The reason I think they're doing that, I don't think it's because of me right now. I think they see what I can become. I think they know I can become a massive, massive threat to the Democratic Party. I mean, I ain't trying to be a threat to the Republican Party. According to them, the Republicans are already our enemy. So why am I worried about them? I could be a threat to them neglecting our people. So I think what they're trying to do is neutralize me right now. I need to build up an infrastructure that is so powerful that either the tree gets toppled, the root system is there, and that tree just resprouts again. So remember, I'm not going to have, Clyburn is not going to start off underestimating me again. And if he retires, well, I hope he does, because I want to be able to beat him before he leaves this here place. But if he retires and one of his daughters decides to run, or Bakari or one of them, I have to be able, they are not going to underestimate me. This on the note of Bakari, I just got to say this real quick. The sad thing with him is, if anyone should be doing what I'm doing right now, it should be Bakari. He has name recognition. He's the son of a famous civil rights activist, a college dean. He has money. He's a lawyer. He has a family. He has media connections. He has political experience. He should be the one running this campaign that I'm running. If anyone could have beaten Clyburn rather easily and had the resources to do it, it's him. But he's a sellout.
Yep, absolutely. That was that. And shout out to Wayne for your support for our brother Marcel. Before we get to Cadillac, Mr. Khan,
Saheed.
Sajid,
Saheed.
damn, say it again.
Saheed.
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 Okay, Saheed. Oh my God, I'm getting better, y'all. You've been waiting a while. Is there something you wanted to add? Okay, Cadillac, you can go ahead.
Hey man, how y'all doing? Thanks for the space. Yeah, brother Marcel, I think I ran it by you before. A big way you could probably raise funds is do a big NFT collection, maybe do a reparations convention or something. Get some of the elite guys like Afro Elite, some of the FBAs, some of the, Security Tribe guys, to be like your speakers or whoever you might want to bring, and even like national, get some national people, and maybe even like do some rap, some artists or some who might promote you or whatever to go out and do a song, do some endorsements or something like that. But yeah, do a big convention, man, and maybe charge, maybe do a collection, maybe 10,000 NFTs, 25, I mean, maybe like $50 a piece. Even the people who don't support, who don't want to come, they still can buy one and just hold on to it or whatever, whatever. But that'll literally be the ticket to the convention. You know what I'm saying? That way, if you do it like that, it'll be like 250 right there, 250K. So like, that's just an ideal. You know what I'm saying? Something you could use to, you know, get to the next level. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, thank you. I do remember you mentioning that. And let me tell you, well, outside of just not knowing much about it, I know what it stands for, non-fungible token. And, I've seen the funny videos of people saying, like, explain what that means. And they show people, like, having panic attacks and breaking down and having temper tantrums. But I remember with Bitcoin, right? Like, I remember people like telling me, man, you'll get good money if you accepted Bitcoin and blah, 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 blah. So I did the research. I added Bitcoin to my platform, one, because I feel it could possibly be an opportunity for my district. And then I accepted Bitcoin and it didn't deliver. Like I thought adding Bitcoin, they said it was gonna open this whole other market over to me, made myself available to the Bitcoin community, did interviews, and I still plan to try to want to make my area a Bitcoin mining corridor, because it still seems to be promising, even though I did read an article about one community where someone had the same similar idea and it was disastrous for the community. But that seemed to be that had less to do with Bitcoin mining and more to do with the people who were in charge. So that's that. But I feel like when I try to pursue these ideas, and it takes a while. But I also want to say this: I was working full time, 60 hours a week and stuff when this was happening. So I was under a lot of stress and having to learn something new. I just feel like when I try to do those things, it's never fruitful for me. Like I did Bitcoin, and the support that I was told I would get just wasn't there. And now with NFTs, if I don't want to get into that and then the support just not be there because it just takes away from things I can do. But I mean, I think it's cool, but I just don't know because I feel like I went through this with Bitcoin and was told I would have all this support from the Bitcoin community, even did an interview with Bitcoin Magazine on Twitter, and the support just didn't come through for me like I was hoping. And I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, yeah, we really don't want to be gambling out here. We want to kind of, and I'm not, this isn't to shoot down his idea, but you know,
Afro, but Cadillac, do please write me more because, like I said, I need to learn this stuff because the way I got into Bitcoin, I always knew about it, but everyone asked me about it. I will call people who are doing phone banking, and it seemed like one out of every 10 phone call will be someone asking me about Bitcoin. And now I'm hearing people mention NFT. I have an idea of what it is. Like I said, I've seen those videos. The one where the girl asks her boyfriend, who's like some engineer, what's an NFT? And he starts like breaking down, losing it because he can't explain it. And she's like, well, can you use it in a sentence? But people are asking me more about it. And if it's important to my people, it's important to me. And I can tell it's important to you. And there definitely is a community of our people to whom it's important. So I do want to know more about it. So please share with me what you have. And I'll share my campaign manager because you see, I have to also remember when I did Bitcoin, I was in the middle of a campaign already and I didn't have a whole lot of time. I actually have some time now. So I actually want to explore that idea you're saying because I have to think outside the box. Okay, we're not our grandparents. We're definitely not our great grandparents. We're not even our parents. So I have to remember we are millennials and we're living in a different world. And NFT, I have to think of creative ways to get money because Clyburn has the big money people on lock. I have y'all, and I need to think of other ways. So I'm definitely open to that. So please just send me more information. I don't want you to think I'm saying, oh no, go away. No, I'm definitely interested because you have mentioned that before. And now I actually have time to process things that people are saying more.
yeah, everybody's trying to pull their own weight. You know, nobody's shooting any suggestions down at all. We're gonna go with promote black and then Juicy Genius and then Tammy. That's the order of the hands I saw. So promote black, you can unmute yourself.
For allowing me to speak, Afro. Shout out to you for going to support Marcel. I just wanted to come on and just say to Marcel, I just wanted to give you your flowers, man. I really appreciate and respect your bravery, your courage. I appreciate everyone who's solution focused. And I say, screw all the Monday morning quarterbacks who are not being supportive and don't want to add anything until after the fact. So I just appreciate you for standing on actually having some sort of progression and showing us what that looks like in real time. And especially for you standing on your platform like you do. So I just wanted to give you your flowers and say thank you again, sir, for all you've done for the community and all you will do.
Thank you, Pro.
Hey, Marcel, you've earned a great deal of respect from all of these people. I hope you understand that. You really have. You've motivated a lot of people. And I don't even know if you've processed it yet. I know people tell you that all the time, but you really created something. You really started something. This is gonna have a beautiful chain reaction for years to come. So definitely hats off to you for that. Um Juicy Genius, you can unmute yourself.
Hey, I just had like one final thing to say, and then I'm actually going to drop down to the comments. Marcel, I just sent you a flyer for the barbecue. The honey biscuit competition is going to be amazing, and the collard greens. I think it should actually be like a collard green competition to come out in it, and see who can tackle the hardest. Another thing as far as the NFT, I don't know what gentleman was talking about the NFT part, but on Monday I became a certified blockchain developer. So anything that has to do with NFTs, smart contracts, blockchain, or cryptocurrency development, that's what I took on to learn for the past 6 months alongside launching this media company, Black News Daily. So as far as what he's explaining, I'm not going to go into like a whole long drawn out concept. It's just merging the future with where we are now. By 2023, 2024, more people will know about blockchain, more people will know about NFTs. Soon you'll be able to pay your rent with an alternative currency, especially if our dollar continues to depreciate. Okay, so just cryptocurrency, alternative form of currency that can be accepted globally. And so what they were trying to help you to say, hey, Bitcoin is going to open you up to this broad, thing. But again, we're working in Colombia or just within this district, and if they're having struggles with their internet, which you need to have internet to be able to create a crypto wallet to be able to download NFTs into. If you don't have the quality internet, then how can you really merge people into this technology? So it's way, way deeper than just launching an NFT aspect to your political campaign, which it can be done and it can be successful when it's done correctly and ethical. That's what the blockchain is supposed to do, is provide transparent ethics across the board. But, again, I just want to say you sparked an empowerment. The whole campaign, the t-shirts, your voice, what you stand for, your humanity, you know, it just sparked and ignited empowerment within me. And I'm talking about reparations everywhere I go, period. I'm talking about, I'm literally, as a Black voter, I'm walking up to people who are trying to get my votes and I'm asking, are you a reparationist? What are your views on reparations for Black Americans? So I think that everyone that is going to vote should adopt these questions when people are approaching them about trying to secure their Black votes. And I'll land my plane there. Thank you again.
Thank you, Juicy Genius. Sis, Tammy, you can go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to piggyback off of what brother, I think his name is Cadillac, was speaking about. I know that we are very leery of entertainers and things like that, but we also have to remember what kind of impact they do make, because if I can remember correctly, Jay-Z actually helped Barack Obama get into the White House. I don't think that we need to go to people like that because they, make their money off of the white supremacists. But I saw Tanisha Arnold endorse him. Like we need to find the grassroots people and we need to actually get them to stand up and talk. Also, I really feel like, everybody's like, where's Ice Cube? Where's Ice Cube? But nobody really, I haven't seen anybody go at him on Twitter like, hey, it's a guy named Marcel. He's running on the things that you was talking about. How come you're not talking to them? So I think that's what we utilize our Twitter space for, to kind of like ask some of these people that were talking about reparations, like, what are you doing? Have you heard about him? And put them on to him. Also, I really feel like, you know, Cadillac was right in a sense where you have to get that exposure. Nowadays, everybody gets their news from YouTube, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. To be honest, those spaces are kind of dead. They're like for Clyburn supporters, the older people. But NFTs and all that stuff is major for him. But I think an endorsement from people that have a bigger base will put him out there. And I have a question for Marcel. Did you ever think of running for the top position, which is the presidency?
No, never. I've heard people see that Marcel for Congress, and I report it as a hate tweet on Twitter. Like, no, I never. But I do want to mention real quick about the Tisha Arnold. Not only did she endorse me, she actually donated to me too, pretty generously. There was another celebrity who did, I think. I can't remember. She's the only celebrity that actually endorsed me. Luke said he supported me, but I ain't never saw no money. And he talks to Ice Cube, and I'm sure he told Ice Cube about me. I guess Ice Cube just decided we're not worth fighting for. I guess he got some backlash and decided, oh, I'm not going to suffer for y'all, so forget it. I tell him, if somebody's trying to take your money, you fight for your money, right? Fight for your people the same way. If I decided that I was going to withdraw If anytime I got some backlash from my own people, man, I would have stopped this a long time ago. But you can't focus on the coons. You got to focus on the majority. The majority of our people are not coons. And I did see people tweet at Ice Cube, but they live in their little towers where they think they're far removed from us. So I'm pretty unhappy with him too, because he could have definitely supported me, and he knew about me. He definitely did. A lot of people tweeted at him about me, and I know he knows because I talked to Luke, and Luke talks to him all the time, and I know he told him about me. He chose not to. He decided he got his, and that's it.
We can't rely on the celebrities. That's all I'm hearing. Even when they talk a good game in the beginning, it's about consistency. They talked a good game. I feel like Ice Cube could have really did a lot to help Marcel out. And as Marcel just said, Ice Cube knew who he was, so he can't play the, oh, I just missed him. So a lot of these celebrities, Charlemagne the God especially, and I'm saying him specifically because he's from South Carolina, so he should want the best for South Carolina. But he deliberately avoided Marcel because he doesn't want to mess up the bag for himself. And a lot of celebrities are on that. We should be putting pressure on them, though. Don't get me wrong. We should be holding their feet to the fire. Don't get me wrong at all. But that's just the issue when it comes to celebrities. They don't want to mess up the butter biscuits for themselves.
Well, can I say one thing? I'm not giving Ice Cube a pass, but as you all remember when he did his a little reparations plan and he went to Trump, a lot of people turned on him. And maybe that's why he didn't really want to jump on it. I'm not giving him an excuse, but we still have to remember a lot of people turned on him for going to Trump, not even thinking that Biden didn't even want to speak to him. You understand what I'm saying? So maybe he feels defeated, who knows, but you're absolutely right. We do need to really get on them. And Monday morning I will be calling the Breakfast Club and I will be asking Charlemagne why he did not endorse you.
And watch his old sorry coon self act that he doesn't know who I am. But see, y'all, we all need to do that. All of us. Too many of us tweet, mad tweet, and then we go back and we turn Twitter off, we go to sleep. Get up, pick the phone up, call them out. We don't do that. And why we don't do it? Because there are a lot of us sitting right here right now. We think that, someone else going to do it, so my little one call won't matter. If you feel Charlemagne the God should be called out for being the coon that he is, don't sit there and say, okay, well, Tammy's going to do it. I ain't got to worry about it. No, then you say, well, if she does it, I'm going to do it. Then the next person says, if he does it, I'm going to do it. That's what it is. It takes a groundswell. And it seems like we don't think we're getting that. Some of us think because we may have a good job, and we may have a home, and we may have a flat screen TV, we just think we got it going on. And we just can't imagine things going bad for us or getting any worse because we're not feeling necessarily how bad things are. But once we do feel it, here's the problem. Once we do feel it, and if things keep going the way they are, we are going to feel it. There's going to be a point of no return. There's going to be no resources, no legislation, and we're going to easily see while we are 50-20% of the population, but we're 55% of those in the streets. And I do want to say about Ice Cube, I'm sure he probably did feel like, well, damn, I'm trying to do something for my people and they mad at me, so forget it. But he's a coward. He's an absolute coward. I don't have any money, okay? I was living with my mother to help her because I couldn't afford to do both. A teacher, small town. I don't have any fancy educational background. I don't have a security detail, okay? And like I said yesterday to people, I was not invited back to my current teaching job. And of course, it was political because my performance is always the best in the school, sometimes the best in the whole county. I have no safety net. I don't know what new job I'm going to get. So I put myself in the line. Ice Cube, NWA, nigga with attitude. Where's your attitude for your people? Where's your stamina for your people? Where's your perseverance for your people? Why are you letting those of us with the least give up the most? That's what they all do. Look at what that old sorry man, that Obama guy said. He would have pushed reparations for white resistance. Don't blame it on white resistance. Blame it on black cowardice. your black cowardice.
Hey, that's why we should never put too much faith in celebrities. We shouldn't. Now, I supported Ice Cube when he was doing his thing when it came to I forget what it was called, the America contract, the Black America contract. But where has he been since then? And yeah, he got a lot of pushback. He also got a lot of support too. So let's not act like, anybody was out to kill him. Yeah, he got some pushback by the mainstream, and yeah, Joe Biden really finessed that. We understand that. Nobody here is a supporter of Joe Biden, but where has he been since then? We can't be, we can't put too much faith in people who show up and they say something good one time and then disappear, never to be seen again. If any time was a time for Ice Cube to show some support, he could have shown some support here. Now, if Marcel was in Congress, how much easier do you think it would have been for Ice Cube's Make America what no, it was Black America contract or something like that, I think it was. If he wanted to get his Black America contract in the government, he should have supported somebody who would have supported that being in the government. His
And he
Black
had an
America contract
opportunity
is
to
on the
do
same
so.
page.
And he had an opportunity to do so. I'm not making, and I know, Tammy, you weren't doing this, but I'm just saying, I'm not making no excuse for any of the celebrities. And I know for all the idiots out there right now talking about, well, we're not entitled to their support. No, ain't none of us entitled to no one's support. They weren't entitled to the people who marched and put it out there for them to get the celebrity status they have. As Black Americans, freemen, a part of our tradition has always been never forgetting where we came from, has always been making sure if we made it, we will make sure all our people made it. That is a part of our lineage. It's what separates us from a lot of these other lineages out there. You don't do that, you're a betrayal to your lineage. And tell me, I hope you call Charlemagne the fraud and let him have it.
Yes, I will. And the moment that they answer the phone, I will put out a tweet saying that everybody tune in because I'm about to really ask him because I don't understand. He really pretends that he cares about us. He could have even, if he didn't want you on the morning show, he has a podcast. He could have put you on the podcast, but like brother Afro said, they don't want to disrupt their bag. They're paid by these white people, and they think going against the grain is gonna make them lose money. But I'm really gonna ask him because I don't understand. He really portrays it as he's this big reparationist and he's for black people and he always want to give people advice and stuff. Because I live in New York, so I hear him every single morning. And you can't just like Brother Afro said, you can't just speak it. You have to walk it, talk it, and live it. So I'm definitely gonna be calling on Monday.
Yeah, he had whatchamacallit, Joe Biden on his program. He had Kamala Harris on his program, I think multiple times. He's had other political candidates on in his program. So
Yo,
why didn't he have
he's one of
Marcel?
those black wannabe boule Negroes. He wants to go back to where he's from and brag and say, I had the president on my program. Look at me. That's what he's about. His own status. He wants David Banner says something good. He said that he remembers when some people were making out the hood, quote unquote, and help other people come out the hood. He said now some people make it out the hood and go back just to brag to the people in the hood about why they in there and they not. And that's exactly what Charlamagne got. He just wants to be like, I got the vice president on speed dial, man. One of those people who wants to brag about how they made it, but not helping other people make it. And there is no excuse for him. It wasn't about me. It was about our people and still is.
Absolutely. I'm not going to keep you too much longer, Brother Marcel. I understand that you said you had limited time, but I'm going to give if you have the availability, I'm going to give like another 10 minutes or so for people to give their final thoughts. I think that this has been a very progressive space where we were able to discuss strategies. And then after everybody gives their final thoughts, we can recap on some of the strategies moving forward. But before we do that, let's get to Mustafa. You can unmute yourself.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say quickly that when you look at the Charlemagnes of the world, they were the same ones that were telling everybody to vote Democrat. And not to say I don't vote for either side, but I'm saying they're the main ones telling us to vote for the same people that are against our interests. Um, Maybe as far as Ice Cube goes, I think what his plan was in the beginning was brilliant. Actually, going on to the other side and leverage our power against the Democratic Party, who we vote for constantly. But I think we should. Well, if you wanted to reach him, I think West Coast Cam is very familiar with him, and he talks to anybody. So I think that would be possible. How and also, but as far as Charlemagne, I think you all should definitely light him up for sure, because he won't have people like Tulsi Gabbard on there who's against foreign affairs and really cutting our money, black people's money, that's going over to these foreign countries. So that's by design.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to hold their feet to the fire. Okay, brother Marcel probably had to step out for a little bit. Um, Judge Sarah, you can unmute yourself.
You know what? My conversation was for Marcel. I actually was just tweeting him. I've been waiting on here to speak because I wanted to share my position about what's happening with Black people. And unfortunately, do you think he left permanently, or is he still here? I think he's still here. Let me say this to you guys. Let me start from the beginning because this really this is I'm annoyed by this, and I get overwhelmed with my thoughts when I think about what's happening. I'm developing a Black Party. It's going to be the Black Party. We the Black Party, and Marcel. When he lost, I was heartbroken. I'm not familiar with what was going on in South Carolina. But the thing that I know about Marcel is sincere. He loves Black people, and he's willing to put his whole identity, life on the line, and that's what's going to make him grow. As Black people, y'all, I love y'all, but the problem is if we keep looking and see what's going on for over 400 years, they have had their foot on our neck, and we have been last. At some point, you have to stop pointing the finger, blaming other people. It's accountability. When I walked in the room, y'all talk about the media, the media. I just came back to Twitter because Judge Sarah Heidel is my abuser. She's my abuser. I'm the 20th, okay, and it made me look around and say Black people are still suffering. Why are we suffering? Okay, so I come in these room and no disrespect to anyone, it has to be personal accountability. Like I said, I came back to Twitter. I'll tweet. It's people in here that will retweet my shit no matter what I say. Okay? You have to look at yourself and say, how are you improving our condition? What are you doing to improve us? When Ice Cube first did his shit, I was like, hold up, what up? What you doing, brother? And then after the fact, I recognized what he was trying to do. One of my main concerns is that, you know what? You can't keep looking at other people to save us because they're not going to save us. We're going to have to save ourselves. Marcel, you are destined for greatness because your heart is clean and it's in the right place. But you have to be strategic. Like I don't you have to look at the numbers, the population, who is voting in your area, what's their age. I think the age group 18 to like 32 should be your target market. And instead of talking about we need to focus on how to fix the problem. To give you an example, the immigration, Marcel, you were the shit, okay? You were the shit. One of the things that they look at us like we're less than and we're not intelligent. You were in a debate with somebody, and he was wild because you understood how money was made. You understood the economy and how money was made, and he kind of fell back because he thought he was going to challenge you. But the thing that Marcel brings to the table, people, is Marcel is a critical thinker. Mark, not only is his heart in the right place, but he's an intelligent person. When he talked about reparations, not saying, oh, we need reparations because what y'all did to me. When he said, okay, to white people, this is how reparations is going to help you. You have to show them what we need, how it's going to benefit them, or they're not going to care. You understand what I'm saying? Marcel, and I'm being very honest with you. That's one thing I like about Marcel. Marcel is honest. My position about immigration was a little different than yours. Then I heard you debate on with Tariq, and you made valid points about how the immigration is minimizing the average wage, the average pay. What we have to do, black people, is we have to find strategies to improve our condition. We need a movement where black people are seen as intelligent, intellectual people, not that we're less than and we're dumb and we're slow. I come in these rooms and I hear really smart people that are really smart and make really good points, but we got to stop complaining and pointing the other finger. How you win is you look at what's good and how we going to grow, how we going to uplift ourselves together. Looking for Ice Cube, Jay-Z, somebody to save us, they ain't gonna save us. You understand what I'm saying? They not gonna save us. And I want to say this to you because I'm keeping it 100 in terms of NFT. This is where education is important. And you like I come in these rooms.
Well, we don't have too much time,
So
so
let me
let's
just say this
if
one
you
point.
could
And I'm
land.
gonna wrap it up real quickly because Marcel had some interest in bitcoins and NFTs. My background is finance. Okay, and this is a problem where black people need an education. NFTs and Bitcoin is making rich people rich. Okay, it's an investment. It's a financial instrument. If you want to invest in something, invest in Amazon, invest in the railroad, invest in a company. And I'm being and so we see what's shiny and new, and we want to get down with that. Bitcoin and NFTs is making rich people rich. Black people aren't getting rich on NFTs and Bitcoin. If you want to, it's an investment. You want to invest in something safe. So, because I see that Marcel is open to everything, but he needs to be laser focused and strategic on what's going to uplift him because he should be the candidate for the people. I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you.
Yep, Marcel, vote for Marcel. Marcel's that dude. Um, Anybody else have any final comments before we recap on some of the strategies and then we close the space? Tammy, Rich, Aisha.
I just want to let Marcel know, please DM me. I really would like to help you with the fundraising. I do have my own event coordinating business, so I could definitely help you, whether it's me bouncing some ideas off of you, making calls for you, or coming down to South Carolina to be hands-on and do whatever you need me to do. And you inspired everybody. I never thought I would be actually being a part of a political campaign, but I definitely have your back, and you could call on me whenever you need when it comes down to fundraising and event planning.
Thank you, sister. Rich, Aisha, do you have anything you'd like to add? Okay, well, before we close the space, let's recap. First things first, Marcel is our brother. Marcel is, and I'm saying our brother because I want to put respect on his name because he did a phenomenal job running. He hit the ground running. He started late, but he was able to make big moves and with limited resources as well too, with obstacles left and right. He was able to do what he did and accomplish what he'd accomplished. He got the attention of the grassroots, and we've supported him to the best that we could. You know, the issue was just a timing thing, but now that we have more time to strategize, now that we have more time to build funds, we're definitely going to win next time. I'm already seeing it. It's going to be, he's going to sit there. It's going to be a smooth win next time. Although we got to start putting in the work now. We have to start putting in the work now. So the first thing we can start doing is we can continue to donate. Don't let the donations stop because that was one of the biggest issues. We talked about that a lot. Funding was a big problem. We're up against Jim Clyburn. He someone who pretty much has unlimited funding due to the dominant society. So we're up against that. The grassroots is up against that. So we need to start donating now so he can have enough money to fund these um the signs and the billboards and the fish fries and the gas and the volunteers and all of these things because that stuff costs money. That stuff is not cheap. It's expensive. Running for Congress is not a cheap thing at all. So we definitely want to give our brother Marcel a head start by donating, keeping that the donations going. Rich, you had something you wanted to say?
Well, I just wanted to say, you know how the saying goes: if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Um, if you plan on contributing, then the next few weeks or next few months, you should really focus on planning exactly what you plan to do and how you plan to contribute. And everyone should do that, so that way we could all come together and help out. Let's not leave it all up to Marcel. Let's all place our hands in the pot and make something magical happen. And I'll leave it at that.
Exactly. Exactly. We all gotta contribute. We all gotta put skin in the game. What we can do is, as far as the volunteers, he said we needed people going knocking on doors. People can, as Rich was saying, people in your area, people that you rock with, people that you can trust. I'm not saying just roll with some strangers to another state. I'm definitely not telling you that. But, people that you can trust, it doesn't necessarily have to be on Twitter. It could be friends and family. You can roll with them down to South Carolina to do some of the groundwork that's necessary, do the canvassing, knocking on doors, helping selling t-shirts, um, advertising for Marcel. Local people around you, y'all can rent a vehicle or y'all can take a trip down there, get a hotel room, a couple hotel rooms, stay down there for a few days so you can do some of the groundwork that's necessary. Because trust me, doing that groundwork is not easy. From someone who was actually down there, it's a lot of driving. It's not like a major metropolitan area where you can knock on one door, then walk two, three houses down, and you have talked to five different people. It's a lot of open space, so we need a lot of boots on ground down there. So we can get that together. We can get the phone banking thing. We can get that popping. Like we said again, donations, donations, donations. Do not forget about that. We don't want to wait till last minute to start donating again. So, like Marcel was saying, $5 a week. $5 a week is not anything. You spend more than $5 on a damn chicken sandwich. So $5 one week, that's gonna last. That's all of that is gonna build up. So $5 a week, that's nothing. You won't miss it, but it'll be very beneficial to Marcel's campaign. So if you can do more than that, then that would be great too. $10, $15, $20. Anything can help. Anything can help. So right now, Marcel he's in a good position. He has a great chance winning. It's almost a guaranteed chance. I damn near want to say guaranteed chance to win next time if we put the skin in the game that we need to. If we hit the ground running like we're supposed to, Marcel will definitely win next time. So salute to Marcel for all the work he's put in. We respect what you've done, and we respect the fact that you continue to do so. Please don't let the haters get to you. We're gonna be on everybody's necks who didn't support Marcel. This shows a lot. The people who didn't support Marcel here also shows a lot too. That shows who's really about it and who's really not. Everybody can talk a good game, but when it comes to actually doing the work, people want to disappear. People are ghosts when it comes to actually doing some real work. Not us, though. The people in this space, the people who've donated, the people who participated in the phone banking, the people who actually were in South Carolina doing the work, the people who did interviews with Marcel, the people who even came in this space and gave suggestions, gave comments and recommendations, told Marcel to reach out to them. These are the people. You are the people who are doing the work. You are the real ones. It's not many of us, but it's enough of us to get the job done. So with that being said, family, you all have a good night. Remember, Um, we're not. This isn't a battle. It's a war, and the war is still on. This is a war against white supremacy. Jim Clyburn won this last time. This is his last time winning. It won't happen again because we're on it now. Marcel is on it, and we got Marcel's back. And Marcel is not the only person. I see another Marcel around the country. It should be a Marcel in every state running for Congress. Marcel has set the platform. He's put forth the stepping stones for Marcel in Chicago, Marcel in Illinois, Marcel in Texas, New York, Arizona, well, not Georgia, Los Angeles, California. There should be a Marcel in every single state in America. So we got to make that happen too. We got a lot of work to do, family, but we will get it done. With that being said, you guys can check this playback out. It's being recorded, and you guys can also check it out on YouTube. I'm going to put it on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Afro Elite on YouTube. You guys should go subscribe to that because I take all of my recorded Twitter spaces and I put it on YouTube. So it will be on YouTube soon. It's in the Jumbotron. I appreciate you guys. If you guys have not been following Marcel, I mean, come on now. You guys go follow our brother Marcel and don't forget to donate. Donate. You all have a good night. Be one, family.